Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. We are back live for Late Vibes. You know the score, man. We're here Tuesday, 10 p.m. in the UK time. And it's 7 a.m. in Australia. Brian, I don't know what time it is. Probably about 5 p.m. But listen.
Yeah. United States, 5 p.m. Eastern time.
5 p.m. There we go. We're here, man. Big up to everyone locked in. We got Australia in the building. What are you saying? You good?
How's everyone doing? You right?
Yeah, man. Good. We got Yaba in the building. How are you doing?
Yeah, man. I'm terrific. Big up everyone on the panel. Big up to everyone watching the show. Make sure you press the like button, man. Let's do this.
Come on, man. Big up. Ange is back from his holiday. Big up to you, Ange. How are you, man?
Doing good, brother. Good to be back on.
Yeah, man. Big up. And then Brian, it's been a while as well, man. Hope you're well, man.
Yeah, it's been a crazy season, but a lot of stuff just in personal life. But I've been doing good.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's going to be a debate today, man. I can't lie to you. I called it the United Civil War, because right now, I can't believe it, honestly, man. The amount of people who are going against each other, cussing each other. It's mad. But this is where we have a YouTube platform. We don't tweet it. We have to speak with context, with with examples, what you want to say. And listen, we give the freedom to have different debates. Everyone can have their opinion, and we do it in a civil way, man. But yeah, man, I'm going to start off with you, Brian, man. We won the FA Cup, big win. But obviously, what's been clouded over the win has been Erik ten Hag's future. You've seen the fan base, you've seen it online. People are not happy with INEOS. The fact that they've not made a decision yet. What do you make of it? That the kind of, do you think it's right? Do you think it's wrong? Talk to me.
I think INEOS are doing the best thing that they can, considering the situation that they came into. Mid-season, a club that's falling down on its knees, let's be honest. I don't think we'd have any hope for the future if INEOS didn't come in. Let's just have that right. Because the Glazers were in charge. We didn't know what their plans for the future were. We needed INEOS to come in. So, with Ten Hag, obviously they didn't hire him, right? No. But before he joined Manchester United, he would be one of the managers we would have considered to hire, given his CV and given what he did in Europe. Ultimately, I think they have to evaluate it for themselves, not based off what people say, not based off what people are saying in the media, not based off what fans are saying. They need to look at both seasons and decide, hey, is this guy that was a highly rated coach before he came to Manchester United, even though he's failed horribly this season, is he someone that we should continue with going forward? And I don't think that's a decision they can take lightly. They need to take the time, evaluate last season, what happened. Evaluate this season, what happened with transfers. Mind you, they've sacked everybody that hired him. Everybody's gone.
Everybody,
right?
gone.
Everybody is gone. And even just recently, we saw Jim Ratcliffe send out a proposition to the staff at Old Trafford. If you don't want to come and walk at Old Trafford, you can leave. So I don't think they're going to make a sentimental decision, right? I don't think Jim Ratcliffe strikes me as someone that is, I don't know, soft, right? He's going to make the decision based off the facts, along with the team he's hired. Barada, Wilcox, I'm sure Ashworth will have a say, even though he's technically not working for us right now. So I think they're going to look at everything. And I think ultimately the decision they come to, I think us as fans have to accept it. It's just what it is. It might be the wrong choice. It might not be what we like. But whatever it is, we just got to accept it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Got early super chatting from HKM says, fans so damn reactionary because we beat City in the FA Cup doesn't allow any sensible person to forget all the negative records this guy's broken. INEOS aren't reactionary. They will sack Erik Ten Hag and appoint Zerbi. Let me go to Yaba because he's Ten Hag in. He wants him to stay. You know, what do you make of the whole situation now? Because, you know, people like me and I think, I don't know, we'll find out the panel and whatnot. I look at this as maybe a perfect time to move on now and bring in someone who they like. But do you think it's harsh the way that people are speaking about Ten Hag? 2 trophies, 2 years, you know, it looks good on the CV. You know, who do you get better? Is that your kind of thinking? Talk to me.
Well, I just want to say congratulations to Man United for winning. You know,
Facts.
It's not just the manager who's done that; it's the players on the pitch as well. If you follow instruction and have a game plan, you can defeat. You get to the top of the mountain and defeat one of the best teams in football. No one really expected us to beat Man City, but we had time. And I think when Ten Hag's had time, I remember last season, I think it was, we lost to Brighton and Brentford. Then we had 8 days on the training field before we played Liverpool. And it was a daunting task, but we beat them 2-1. Ten Hag had time on the training ground to get the job done. And we've had that now. We've got players come back in. We had our 2 centre-backs in from last season, got us 3rd place. And we beat Man City comfortably, in my opinion. We controlled in all situations. And this is players, we're getting to the stage now, 2 years in, where he's filtering out all the bad, rotten eggs and getting players in with the desire to perform. We saw 2 young players score goals. We saw Onana kind of step up. I know he made it for one of the goals, but sort of have a bit of retribution. So it's all about retribution. And even for the manager, and everyone, even people who were saying the season's been poor without looking at the factors why it's been poor, they must be happy to see Ten Hag. You know, you're not going to say, I don't want to win this FA Cup because it's Ten Hag and look what he's got us in 8th place. No one really in their right mind will say that. So it's a great discussion, great time in the show where we can have a discussion about it because people, you know, if you've got a big ego and you don't want to turn around and say, no, you know, maybe this has changed your mind. Or maybe like me, I've always felt he should stay and just get the right players in. Not just transfers, but bring players in and people that like Dalot is really professional. I feel he's been fantastic this year. People showing their true colours now, and I think hopefully this will shine a light on who's good at the club, who we need to stay at the club, and who should be going. And INEOS are doing a great job, as Brian was saying there brilliantly, about selecting the right people to carry us forward. If Ten Hag is the man, then so be it. I still think he is. Not just based on the FA Cup, but all the factors that led to us having a poor season, managing that. He was a catalyst of getting everyone out of the club. The Sanchos, who's good luck in the cup final this Saturday. Sancho, Ronaldo, all these issues had to deal with, injuries. And we saw at the end of it, you know, the cherry on top is to win a trophy with a makeshift kind of side. So I'm delighted. I'm interested to hear what everyone else has to say and whether people can actually have their head turned and turn around and say, actually, he should stay, which I believe he should.
I mean, Enzo saying here, Ten Hag in Mr. Strella. Is he trying to allude that you've changed your mind or something there? Enzo?
No, I'm not Ten Hag in. I'm not Ten Hag out either. My main basis, like I told you already, I need to see the process through. I need to see the transition through. I don't see the point of repeating the same mistakes to repeat insanity again and again and again. Like I've said.
But it's different people now, though. So it's not the same.
And Saeed, I've told you this. I want to keep coming and tell you this again. What have you showed me? You haven't shown me anything. You've just told me. And since they've come in, since they've announced they're taking over the club, what have they shown us that competent board of director members would actually be doing? Your messages are getting leaked. You haven't given us no clarification around who the manager is going to be. No clarification what's happening around the stadium. No clarification what's going on in the summer with signings and stuff like this. We've known about this club being up for sale for over a year. Please don't. Let's not argue over semantics and pretend like, oh, we needed INEOS. I've said this already. If we got bought by Qatar, they would have done a strategic review. They would have got all the people necessary in the club already. So
you don't know that. You don't know that, though. Even though I wanted Qatar, yeah, there's nothing to suggest there that they would have brought them people. So you're dealing with hypotheticals there, man.
I'm not talking about these people specifically. I'm talking about just competent people. Everyone's getting excited because competent people are coming to the club. Whether you want to believe it or not, I know for a fact all these people coming in, there are a lot of United fans who don't know who these people were before. They might have known the establishments that they worked at, but they didn't know how involved they are at the previous clubs they worked for. So I don't want to hear all this nonsense about, I'm so excited. I don't care. I just know competent members of people are coming to my club to do their job. If Qatar came in and got the club, they would have done the exact same thing. So INEOS haven't done anything special for me to be dancing like a seal and going, thank you, thank you, thank you. They haven't done anything yet. If anything, I think it's embarrassing how they've let this whole Ten Hag saga go on, and it's been overshadowed that we actually won an FA Cup. We actually won a cup, and all that everyone seems to keep talking about is this manager.
I mean, Brian, do you want to reply to that before I bring in Ange? Because I see you shaking your head there.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to end this whole Qatar business. Like, people keep talking about Qatar like as if they were actually serious. Let's be real, right? The people who were coming in to buy Manchester United, the only reason why people were excited about Qatar was the possible links to the royal family, that we were going to get state money. The people who themselves actually came to buy Manchester United did not have the money like that. They just didn't. That's just the reality as fans. We just have to accept it, because if they did, they would own Manchester United. Have we ever seen Qatar, the royal family, back out away from a deal because of a British businessman? Come on. Like, they lost the deal. So why are we...
Right, sorry. I have to interject. I'm sorry. Maybe it will work for somebody who's not educated on this, but unfortunately, I followed this whole process from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
Let's pretend that they didn't have the money, because this is not like I said, I'm a trainee solicitor. So this is not like buying a house or simply just putting an offer for a house. There has to be legal checks behind this. Even to buy something the level of Manchester United, there's going to be a stringent level of financial clarification that you would have to surpass before you can even put in a bid. There were several different entities and syndicates that wanted to purchase United or were considering the option of purchasing United. Qatar put in a valid bid. If they didn't have the money, why did the Glazers string it on for so long? Please just...
Sheikh Jassim put in a bid. Sheikh Jassim put in a bid. Not the Qatar royal family themselves. Sheikh Jassim, a businessman on his own, put in a bid. And the reason why it took so long, as we've come to understand, the Glazers had a valuation that they wanted people to hit. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe tried several bids. People forget Sir Jim Ratcliffe actually tried to buy the club 100%. He tried to do that. Yeah. Okay? He didn't come up with this 25%. He tried to buy it initially for what the club is worth. But the Glazers put the club over 2 to 3 billion more than what it's actually worth, realistically, which is within their right to do so.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, Sheikh Jassim, he, for some reason, if you look at his offer, he offered what? He didn't offer the full 6 billion. He offered 4 billion, what the club is worth, then another additional 2 billion that was to come in.
Club's not worth 4 billion. He's still overpaying. That's because
I think overall he paid
overall
package. Yeah.
So
I don't argue semantics. Overall, I'm going to say I know what the bid was. Yeah, the totality of the bid wasn't for the whole club. I understand that it was a certain percentage of shares and the percentage for something else. I understand. Cool, no problem at all. My thing is, I know what the club was valued at, and it still wasn't to what he was offering. He was offering above market value for what the club was worth. Yeah. So regardless of what you want to tell me, there was a bid there, and the common consensus with all the United fan base was full sell or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was mine. Everyone wanted that.
This guy wanted,
I agree.
This guy wanted to now
Everyone
go
wanted
do key in the background. So Jim, oh, these people are nice people. Blah blah blah. He's later on come back. He spun the block and he's changed his bid 3-4 times twerking. Yeah.
But here's the reality, though. He is now in position to make changes at Manchester United. Sheikh Jassim, wherever he isn't. Listen, if I love Manchester United, right, which I do, and I'm a billionaire, I will pay all what I have to pay to own the club. End of story. I will do what I have to do because the Glazers have been here for over 12 years. They have been in charge. They're not going anywhere.
I don't agree with
that,
though, Brian.
You have to pay over the odds. Like it's with anything in life. We say with Manchester United, we want to sign Vinicius Jr. We love Vinicius Jr. Real Madrid are going to quote their price, and it might not be what he's worth.
It's not the same.
That's just the reality. No, it's the reality of business. When Elon Musk wanted to buy Twitter, would you say Twitter was what, 42 billion pounds or whatever it was?
It's not the same.
He paid. He
Brian,
overpaid. Any luxury item, Manchester United are not a typical good. It's not like a phone. It's not like a watch. It's a luxury item that doesn't come on. Let me just finish my point. That doesn't come on sale often, right? Manchester United is not going to come on sale every year. So the Glazers, even though I despise them, I hate them, they put the valuation of what the club is worth. If you want to own Manchester United, pay this, or we're not going anywhere. End of story. Now the fans, we can riot, we can protest, we can say whatever we want to say. Jim Ratcliffe came in and said, you know what? These guys are tough to deal with because this is not the first time people have tried to buy Manchester United. There have been multiple attempts, even at lower valuations. But we've gotten to this point now, 2024. Jim Ratcliffe said, all right, I'm going to do the deal that I can do, and maybe across time, I can own Manchester United completely. So this is where we are. And I think as fans, let's just move on. Trying to hit all this pressure on INEOS saying they haven't done this, they haven't done that, they haven't impressed me. What exactly would they have done to actually have impressed you? Because in my opinion, I don't think there's anything they would have done to have impressed you because you already didn't want them to come in place anyway.
Can I just say, there's a balance, right? I agree with what Brian's saying to a certain extent, but I also agree with Estrella that I don't think he would have paid over the odds as well for something that he didn't believe that was credible. I don't think any businessman would do that if they know that something's worth of value. It's not. I think it's like it's a common rule, it's a principle in business not to overpay. You know, you don't want to do that. You know, you don't want to be known as a guy that overpaid for a club or overpaid for something that, you know, was worth less than what it was. I think that's a common principle. But, like I said to you, but the thing that I don't agree with Estrella is him saying that they would have brought in competent people in the football club, etc. We don't know that. You're dealing with a lot of semantic hypotheticals, etc., etc. So
respectfully, what I'm going to say this year, Brian, what you're arguing is, from a trainee solicitor point of view, so I'm going to say shared ownership is like purchasing a property, shared ownership, or getting the full absolute title, Shared ownership in the UK, the way they're trying to dress it up is like, it's really the property market is very volatile. It's hard to get a property with the average paying salary, etc., etc. If you put in this deposit, you can buy in shares into the property. You have the title of landowner, but you're not. But for every let's say £1,000 is for the whole bills. £100 of that each month is only going to the mortgage. The £900 is going to the property, to the land, and you don't own any of that. This is what the Sir Jim thing is getting me angry for. I wanted the 100%. You changed your bid not once, not twice, but 3 times.
He never had the money though.
Exactly. So my thing is this: you can't now try and use that argument for me to avoid the Qataris. You're now saying, they set the bid at this price, blah blah blah. They didn't make it. That's the end of it. Yeah, that's the end of it. That's fine. But the same way you didn't want Sir Jim to overpay, why would I expect my man to? Why would I expect the Qataris to overpay? So they put in a fair bid, didn't get accepted. We move on. That's fine. But what's not going to happen is they make 1-2 changes or necessary required changes that were needed anyway, and I'm going to start sitting there lapping it up. No, I need more than that.
You don't need to lap it up. You can just let them do the work that they need to do. They've been in place for about 6 months. What have I seen in the last 6 months? Well, I've seen 3 people, 2 people that they supposedly hired are not even coming to our club yet. Oh wow! Berada, who is the CEO, which is a huge get, by the way, is going to come in July 1st or so, and
I feel like
Wilcox
they've
is already in.
done- I feel like they've already started a workforce. They're lobbying the government so Lord Sebastian Coe's running a task force so that they can build a stadium. That's a huge. That's what, like if they just did that, that's huge. Yeah, but they're changing the whole.
But he's also
how
asking for
people work.
taxpayers' money though as well. He's also asked for taxpayers'
Well,
money.
that's what billionaires are going to do. That's what billionaires.
Well, I'm not sure, man. It's a bit dodgy.
None of us.
To clarify that point, and I don't want to cut you off, Ange. A friend of mine who is he works as one of the top 4 accounting firms in the United States. I asked him, "What do you think about this idea of using taxpayer money to build a stadium for a sporting club?" And he said it's actually a good idea. Now, it might not get approved, right? But we as Manchester United fans say we don't want any more debt, right? He's trying to go down the route which might actually help mitigate that. Ultimately, the government might say, "Hey, we don't want to do this because people are going to be angry at us. You have to build a stadium yourselves," which I think he can do for 2 reasons. One, it's Manchester United. You can get approved for a loan very easy just based off the numbers that they have. 2, who's not going to want to give Manchester United money to build a stadium? And Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who is the richest man in the UK. He can accomplish it. But he's going down, okay, if I don't have to rely on putting what's it going to cost to build a new stadium for Manchester United? About 2 billion,
Yeah,
2.5, a lot of money. If I can go down the route of, hey, I can get the government to do this, because let's be honest, we wouldn't complain. Saeed, you're not going to be mad if you go into a new stadium. It's nice, everything is good. You're not going to care who built it. You're just going to care we have the best facilities in the world. Why does it matter?
You Tottenham fans still not complain?
No, you know what it is? I think it comes down
There's
to
something sad. There's something sad about that. There is something sad about billionaires. Like they want to socialize, because the thing is, if United build a stadium, a $2 billion stadium, and it makes, say, $150 million of revenue every year, that all goes into them. It doesn't go back to the public. It's private wealth. So what we're doing is we're socializing billionaires. Yeah, there's something really sad about that. I get that. Like it's an American tradition. Like every American stadium is government funded. You know, if you look at any of these stadiums, at least 500 million, $1 billion is government funded. So I get that. There's something really sad about that. But they've made a lot of changes in the background. He said and he said something really smart. Like every time I hear him speak, he's a smart man. He knows what he's talking about. He said, we want to walk to the right solution instead of run to the wrong solution. And I thought and that's the problem. Like the thing is, you come in, you don't want to just sack the manager and do this. You want to do a proper review, understand where it's gone wrong. What are the issues? And that's what they're doing right now. Like, as fans,
before you come.
Quick. The thing is, you don't want to make all these quick decisions now, and then 2 years later you realize, oh shit, we didn't think about this, or we didn't make this smart decision. I think that's what they're doing right now. I've been highly impressed, because just one more thing before if you look at the history of INEOS, who are they? Yeah, where do they make all their money? So the way they made all their money was they'd buy parts of like BP or parts.
It is dodgy as well, though. It is dodgy as well with the greenwashing and stuff like that. You know,
yeah, what I mean, every company, but they work in oil. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the business. Yeah, if you were dealing with chemicals. But the way they made all their money is they'd buy parts of BP, parts of Shell, and these businesses were failing. They weren't making any money. What they would do is they'd buy it and then turn it into a massive revenue making machine. That's their job. They'd buy businesses that were failing and then make it profitable. They have a history of that. That's what they're good at. So of course, I think they're going to do really well. I trust them, but it's going to take time, man. It's going to take years to see a lot of these positive changes.
I'm just going to get these super chats in because they were kind of rebuttaling a couple of points that Brian made. HK says, nah, if you're a billionaire, you won't let people take you for a fool. That's not good business. The reason Elon Musk paid that amount for Twitter is because they took him to court. He didn't want to pay the amount. And he says here as well, they didn't want to overpay. Qatar are not stupid. And super chat before says, Ten has to go, finish 8, minus goal difference, all for football. Big Sam Russian can win with a final. Come on, we are better than that. And big up LFC Sai with the 2 gifted memberships as well. Make sure you lot are liking the video, people, man. Get them likes up. But the thing is right, Estrella, I get it. You're apprehensive. And I think that's the best way to go forward. But, you know, the only good thing, like I said to you, that I've seen from these guys is that they're bringing in the best in class. Omar Barada, you can but hold on a minute. You can research what he's done at Man City. You know, I mean, whether we like Man City or not, he's done well. Jason Wilcox, Very, very credible person. You've seen it, Man City Academy, Southampton. You know, you go back to his days, you can see the way he understands football. You're looking at my man, Brailsford, with what he's done as band. Claude Blanc as well at Juventus. The way he got Juventus from where they were up to where they've gone now. PSG's work at PSG. So there are got credible people. They're not just nobodies. So in that aspect, you can't really speak about them in a way that, oh yeah, you know what I mean, the nobody's in it. You know what I mean? Like the way you are right now, I believe you are in that regard.
Really quick, I just want to rebuttal to Angia. The reason why I'm going to hold, normally I would agree with you because I'm not ignorant. I'm not an ignorant person. I would agree because you spoke a lot of logical sense. But in terms of Sir Jim, the reason why he's not held at the same standards I hold Qatar or I hold an American syndicate that just wanted to buy us, he came into this saying he's a United fan. And you're a United fan. Yaba, you're a United fan. Brian, you're a United fan. Saeed, you're a United fan.
He used emotive. He was, you know,
we're all United fans. We all know the problems with this club and within this club. So in his select collective position, he's in a position of power where he's able to actually purchase the club. But as a fan, you already know the prerequisite going into this purchase. You know all the problems wrong with the club. So I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to give you the same amount of patience as I would have given somebody else. You should already know the issues coming into this club. Since you're a lifelong United fan, you know all the problems with it. And all of a sudden...
So your grudge is that he's got 20%, 27%.
I ain't got... My grudge is not this. My grudge is that with United fans, how they're just easily twined. Like, what they've done now, I'm not saying all these people they brought in are little boys. They're not small boys. Yeah. But I don't see the difference between what they've done and what the Glazers done. The Glazers, when they're under pressure, look, watch this, watch this, watch this.
Crazy.
Watch this, watch this. When the Glazers are under pressure, what do they normally do? They go out, spend bare peas on who? Superstar names. These people have just got good elite names that you've just said.
No, they never bought in football in men though, man.
Let me just finish. Let me just see my theory. You've brought in big footballing names, all from a different cross of mixes. Yeah. Sometimes there's too many good cooks in the kitchen. Is a recipe for disaster. I'm gonna give it benefit of the doubt and say, okay, cool. You've got best in class, no problem. Yeah. Maybe you can implement a style, a structure, a framework. That's fine. But again, I'm gonna say this: anyone who's spending over 2-something billion on an item, they're obviously going to invest in it regardless. So you doing these small changes, I am not getting excited. The only reason why everyone's getting excited is because we've never had this before. But I don't care. I want more, and this is not to my standards. This is just something like.
What's more to you then? What's more to you? What's more to you?
And if you went to go buy an expensive car, yeah, and you need to obviously change the tires. Are you gonna remember your car costs like 50 grand? Are you gonna put on £20 spare tires, or are you gonna put on run flats which cost £150 each tire?
I'm going to put the best tires for the car. The best tires.
There we go. There we go. Because you've got an expensive car. It doesn't make sense putting cheap stuff on an expensive car. Yeah, cool. That's the way you got to look at United. It's an expensive product. Fair enough. It might be depreciated in certain revenues, but if you're overpaying for this thing as well, you're not gonna come in and then only start doing cheap things. You obviously going into it knowing that it needs a lot of work. So that's my point. Like, I'm not going to get excited.
How do you draw this back to United? How does you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How do you draw this back to United?
How I bring it back to United. One, you bringing in the people in the correct positions is not gonna get me on your side. I need to see direction for the manager. Give me clarity. Give me clarity on what we're doing for the summer. Give me clarity on what the football philosophy is going to be going forward and the ideology of the club. Because all of these misconceptions continuously going on that players thinking.
But Shola, if they were to speak right now, sorry to cut you off, but if they were to speak right now, all they would be doing would be saying more words, right? They will be saying, yeah, we're going to do X, we're going to do Y. What you want is action, right? You want to see them work and do something good, right? So if we go past this summer, right, and we have a shit summer, I'm right there with you. I will agree with you. Like, they haven't done anything. But we haven't seen... Sorry?
Why went to the summer though? They've been here for 6 months. Like,
yeah, because it's a huge part of Manchester United's biggest problem. I think we can all agree has been recruitment has been terrible.
Yes, terrible.
Right? It's been horrible. So for me, a good indication, like you look for milestones in anything that you're like, okay, let's give it time. All right, the recruitment team has done a good job. We haven't seen the players play yet, right? This is why it's going to take time. You can say we can have a great awesome. We can sign Olise. We can sign, I don't know, Euro from Ligue 1 and all these really top players, right? but we haven't seen them play. We haven't seen them integrate. We haven't seen them do anything. We as fans can look at it and be like, we've had a great summer. But we don't know that until the players actually play. So judging INEOS now, and it's fine to be skeptical. I'm skeptical. I'm one of the most skeptical people on this panel, if you see my tweets. We just need to give it time. There is so much time to be able to bash INEOS. Like, honestly speaking, we have, God willing, we have all the time in the world to bash INEOS if they do a bad job. And no fan base does a better job of tearing people down than Manchester United fans. So, for me, this is not even necessary. Let them walk. If they mess up, which, trust me, it can happen. There's no guarantee this is going to work. But what I want, and this is where Manchester United has gone wrong in the past, we sign Anthony, he flops, we don't sell him. We sign Mota to back up Ten Hag, he makes a mess of it, we don't fire him. So for me, if Barada or Wilcox or Ashworth have 2 seasons they mess up, or a season or someone they mess up, and we're just pretending like they haven't, that's where I will have a problem. We need to let people work and show they can do the job. If they don't, what Manchester United used to do in the past, they were ruthless. You get them out, you get the next person in that can actually do the job, and you move forward. That's how I see it anyway.
Can I ask, why was Phil Jones at this club for over 10 years? Why did we let Pogba go for free, buy him back, and he come back and he came back again? Why did we spend 50 million pound on Fred? Why did we scout over 100 right backs and we end up spending 50 million pounds on Wan-Bissaka? Why did we spend 75 million pounds on Lukaku? Why did we spend 60 million pounds on Di Maria? Why did we spend 73 million pounds on Sancho and 8 million pounds on Maguire? See, these things are yeah, but I also want to get you involved because you're just being relaxed. I know you're just listening.
He's gonna say something now.
These things are reoccurring themes that I see at my club. So when you try to move the goalpost to fit your argument, it's not going to work with me because this whole 80 million on Anthony, yes, the guy's dead. Maybe learn him out and maybe get some new form and then get some money for him in the coop. He's still young. There's a chance. But we've done it before. There's lots of other players that come to this club. We've overpaid and they just been as dead. So all of this thing about, he's going to die on this floor for overpaying on Anthony. He's not the one who negotiated it. He said, I wanted this guy and this guy. They waited the...
So wait. Who do you mean? Ten Hag? Are you talking about Ten Hag?
Ten Hag's not the guy who went to Ajax.
Oh, you're talking about John Mota or whoever.
I'm talking about Ten Hag because everyone keeps using this argument as another reason or an
Okay.
additional factor as to get rid of the manager because he made a bad decision buying Anthony. But I'm saying, in summary, we've done this before with previous players. Yeah, but please take the floor, please.
I don't really get involved in the financial side of things. I don't understand that sort of world. I don't live in that kind of world, but it's ruthless. And you guys, it's just interesting listening to you guys. But Charlie, you said you're a trainee solicitor. Yes? You should be a trainee detective. Or what you need to do is do a spin-off series called Estrella Investigates because you're so suspicious of everything. Just everything you do. You're suspicious. No, I'm trying to find your point, but you're not sticking to one thing. You're saying, I like this, I'm making this point, but I'm suspicious about this too. Let me get my magnifying glass out and investigate this. So you definitely need a series on that. But to be honest, I can't talk too much. All I can say is what I can see. Obviously, like politicians, people have a manifesto of what they say. I think Ratcliffe said the right things and he's producing. We've seen the people coming in the club, as Saeed was saying there, seem to be good people who know their football. Which is the difference? You just reeled off a list of names from signings we've had under different ownership, not ownership, different staff or people recruitment. They've all gone now. So that's in the past. I'm listening to that. Say, well, that's done with. Let's see what we do in the future. And the last window or so, I see we're getting a different kind of player in. We're not spending stupid money on old veteran forwards or people to do a short-term job. I know Casemiro is an exception, maybe. And maybe Varane was a bit of a panic buy. But going forward, we need to get our reputation back before we can get the quality of players that we do want. For example, Frankie de Jong, that was highlighted as a player we should get, and it would have been a great signing. But we're not, people have turned us down, like Bellingham turned us down. We're looking at the club saying we're not ready yet. So let's build, the club up and get to that stage which these guys are doing. Great analogy he gave there, or statement he made, Ange. I can't remember it, but something about not rushing towards the target, taking time basically to make the right moves, and that's what I like to hear. So when I'm hearing this talk from, which is a slick guy, Ratcliffe, when I'm hearing this slick talk, I'm saying, it's playing to my heartstrings. I say, okay, that's good. But like you say, I don't trust politicians, don't trust businessmen. Let's see actions speak louder than words. Let's see how they deliver in the coming months.
You know what? That's what they're gonna do. I think, Ange, this is the problem though. You know what I mean? Like, they are having that period where they're thinking about it, like, you know what I mean? And obviously the fan base are just in meltdown at the minute, man. You know what I mean? Because they're just saying, what's going on, Ange? We don't know. It's an outrage if he's getting sacked, you know. What do you say to the people that, you know, we do start this process again? Like, because I speak to people a lot on the street. They always tell me, why do you want to change your manager? Why do you want to start all over again? Like, what would you say to that, man, in terms of like changing again and that whole idea of sacking a manager? What are you saying, Ange?
It's a good question. I'm so glad we have INEOS in place and not the Glazers, because the Glazers might look at a United Stand poll and go, geez, we should sack the manager. You know what I mean? Like, the idea that people, that they're going to look at a poll from some guy called Brent and then make a decision whether we should stay or not is ridiculous. Like, the thing is, they work with him every day. Yeah, that's how you make your decisions. Like, if you work with somebody every day, you see them coming to work, you see them, like, for example, they look at, all right, say there's a player underperforming, hasn't played well for 3 months. What is Ten Hag doing to help him get back into form? What are the conversations he's having with them? What is he doing on the training? That's how you make your decisions whether a manager's good to go. Like, how does he run his meetings? How does he run his halftime talks? Yeah. Well, if we're conceding 30 shots a week, what is he doing to rectify that situation? What is he doing on the training pitch? What data analytics is he looking? You make your informed decisions. You don't look at a poll from some fan site and go, that looks about right. We should probably keep him or we should sack him. That's like the epitome of like incompetence. Yeah. And so for sure, they're going to make a really smart decision. In my opinion, I think they've already made that decision. Like, just reading the tea leaves. Like, for example, The Guardian, who have really strict editorial guidelines. They don't just, whether it's politics or whatever, they're pretty good. They have very strict editorial guidelines. You have to look at multiple sources. You have to get it confirmed, all that stuff. So I think they've made the decision. My theory, and I could be wrong, is that they don't want to go into the market looking for a manager without leverage. So if they have Ten Hag, that means they can't get ripped off for like a compensation fee or a release cost fee for another manager.
Yeah.
So they want to keep Ten Hag as a viable option, or at least publicly as a viable option, so that they have more leverage in the market. That's my opinion. So I think they'll make I think they'll get rid of him. I don't get the United fan base. Like, why are we making a decision on one game? What are we doing here?
Bro, we're too emotional, man. I can't believe it.
I think we're too emotional, both sides of the coin, right?
I'll just close this off. With the one game thing is, if you think about how we set up against City, which was play a low block, hit him on the counter. That second goal was like prime Ole. That's how we'd score a lot of goals against Ole. Yeah. With Ole, people won't admit it. They'll go, "This is amazing." Ole,
it was.
10 hard balls. That's how we'd score a little bit. Regardless of that point, the thing is, the way we set up against City is not how we're going to set up in 95% of our games. Where because you're not asking to dominate possession, win the ball back high up. Like, that's how we would be expected to set up against 95% of Premier League teams. The way we set up is it's easy. Of course, City's a really good team, but it's just sit low and then hit them on the counter attack. If we played like that against almost every other Premier League team, it wouldn't be good. Like, why aren't we dominating the ball? Why aren't we winning the ball back high? So it's not a true reflection of Ten Hag's coaching skill or how we should play the game. We set up in a defensive way. City were 80% of their ability, and we won. So
let me
I don't think we should be making a decision on one game.
Yeah, this comment here. Listen, we want we want different people to have their say in it. We don't want all of us to have the same opinion. So big up Nazi says, because fans want to see project through. We can't keep changing managers. Ten Hag lost 70% of the team. He saw through youngsters in the team. But the problem is, though, Naz, this is not INEOS' project. Why do people keep saying it's their project? It's not their project.
So really quickly, yeah. You see what you're saying, Ange. I agree with you. But like up to this FA Cup final, I believe a lot of United fans are hypocrites. Or the ones that wanted Ten Hag out, they just decided that they want him out. Because Yabs, you remember when I came on last time, everyone was saying, if Ten Hag loses this game, it's basically his job on the line, innit? And I was saying, trying to articulate to say that it's not fair to judge a manager on one game. I'm already making my judgment before that game. Even if he loses, still keep him, and if he wins, keep him. So I think it's very disingenuous of a lot of people now, the same ones that said before his job's on the line of that final. He wins an X final, and everyone's now saying, "Oh, they're now saying get rid of him." Everyone's saying get rid of him. Oh, you can't really say because he won the final. I agree. You shouldn't make a long-term decision off a one-game basis. But I already made my decision beforehand. And then everyone else was saying it's dependent on that game if he stays or he goes. And secondly, that counter-attacking defensive football we were playing, you're saying we would struggle. Funnily enough, we did that last season when we didn't have a style of play because we said we'll hold out until the following season. And we actually did pretty well, if I recall. A lot of these players, what people don't want to admit, they just ain't good enough for United. They can't play the style of football that the manager wants to play. And you're going to have these same issues with another manager when they come in. I'm not that so Raven. I can't see
incorrect. You know the bench. By the way, the bench on Saturday had, I think a lot of his players on the bench, in terms of Eriksson, Evans, Højlund, Mount.
These players.
All of these players on the bench. Just want to let you know.
Is that what we're doing again, Saeed? Do I need to do revisionism again? Is that what we're doing? Eric,
here's the thing with Ten Hag. I think the fundamental problem with people who are Ten Hag out is they think Ten Hag is a bad coach. Ten Hag is not a bad coach.
I've never said that, by the way. I've never said
that.
But
I know, and maybe not you personally, Saeed, but I'm saying like in general, people think that Ten Hag is a bad coach. So no matter what you say to them and tell them, maybe you should give him time, they're not gonna agree with you because fundamentally they think he's a bad coach. So they want him out of Manchester United. For me, it's very simple. I defended Ten Hag for a very, very long time, actually. But my biggest beef with him was he didn't adapt tactically this season. I get it. You have your way you want to play, and you're going to play that way regardless. But you're still the coach of Manchester United. You need to buy yourself time. Because if you have the shocking season we had now based on the way he wanted to play, because we don't have the players for his system, you're going to get sacked, right? Now, this is where the decision for INEOS is tough, right? Because they're going to have to look at the first season. They're going to look at what Ten Hag did even before he got the Manchester United job, and they're going to look at what he has accomplished with the 2 trophies. And they're going to have to look at it and decide, do we give this guy more time? Because fundamentally, they're not looking at it like Ten Hag is a bad coach. He's actually a good coach, but the structure he was under was poor. The direction and feeling given to him by the ownership on whether, hey, do I have the time to actually slowly build this team and play the way I want to play? What direction do you want me to take? Like, how do you want me to set up? Like, those kind of questions are things that people above him who would say, listen, we know you don't have the full squad. And this can only come from people who understand football. We know you don't have the squad of players you need to play the way you want to play. But we have targets we have to hit. We have to weigh what we need to do to move forward. So maybe let's go slowly and slowly get to that place where you can play. We'll sign you this player. We'll sign you this player. In 2 years, we're targeting this player. That's the kind of foresight that someone like Ten Hag needs, because then he can now look at it and like, okay, I can just focus on getting the results I need to get to, which he can do. He did it in his first season. And then he can then move forward. But this season, I don't think he got that direction. I think they let him just do whatever he wanted to do in the transfer market and also on the pitch. People like Morta don't have that foresight and that vision. They don't have a vision for Manchester United. That's the problem. So when Ten Hag... So...
transfer market bit, can you just go over that? Because you said they let him do...
In the transfer market in general, right? Ten Hag really wanted De Jong. I think we can all agree on that. He really wanted De Jong.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So someone with foresight to be like, I can't get you De Jong. He really doesn't want to leave Barcelona because that's his dream club. We've spoken to his agent. But this is what I did. We found this 19-year-old that is the same mold as De Jong, and we know you're good with managing young players. We can get him for £40 million or something like that, right? Someone like Ten Hag, I don't think that's an issue to him because this is what he had in Ajax. He never went and bought the most expensive players. He developed a lot of young talent. Martinez, what did they sign him from? I think somewhere in South America, they brought him from Manchester United would never do that. We're now going to go sign some 22-year-old centre-back from Argentina and make him a starting player. That kind of situation, no, we'll go and say, oh, we want to go buy 60 million Brentwaite from Everton. This is the problem. I'm not saying Brian Smith is a bad player, but I'm just saying these are the differences between managing Ajax and managing Manchester United. And I don't think we gave him that guidance, an overall picture of he can have confidence in that, hey, we are walking in step with you, but we can also give you an advice on what you need to go forward. And that's why I think going into this season, the kind of person Ten Hag is and kind of coach he is, he didn't have that guidance. So he flipped his system and said, okay, let's play the way I want to play. We don't have the fullbacks to play system. A lot of people say Luke Shaw is the best left back in the world. I'm sorry, but he does not know how to play as an inverted left back.
Facts.
He's a good.
Sorry to interrupt, but you still didn't answer my question. Like I just heard you say, let him do what he wants in the transfer market. Please, like, elaborate, because you didn't answer my question.
In what regard?
Because how did it? From what I'm aware of, he wasn't allowed to do what he wanted.
Okay. So this is what I mean. Right? In his first season when he came in, Ten Hag would have requirements on who he wants to sign.
Yep.
So right winger was one of them, apparently. So instead of the people in charge then to say, listen, Ajax are being stubborn. They don't want to sell Anthony. Let's go sign you a profile that suits what you want. Right? But because Ten Hag was put on this board committee with veto power and they trusted him, which is fine, they went with what he wanted, and then it led to them overpaying stupidly for Anthony because they said they didn't have the vision to go look, listen, let's go find another profile. This is the issue with Manchester United. They've done it for years.
Right, that's my issue there, because when you say stuff like that, this is a big platform. A lot of people listen to that for gospel and run to the heavens with that. When he said he wanted Anthony, he came to the club with a list of names, yeah? When we wanted to go for Anthony, they gave us a price. The price wasn't 80 million originally. If I recall correctly, he wanted Timber. There was issues there, especially with the head coach of his national team. Then we dropped down.
That was his first choice.
We dropped down to Martinez. And if you remember correctly, there was a linkage. I remember on Fabrizio Romano, 90 million euros for Anthony and Martinez from Ajax. This was like mid-August. I believe. They were like, you can get them for combined that.
Nah, that's cap.
You said 90. You said 90, right? 90, not 19.
90, yeah. No, 90, sorry, 90 or 95 million euros. Yeah. I can find you the report. I can find you the YouTube.
Find me the report.
No, I don't disagree with him, Saeed. He's actually correct, because I think even before the summer, Ajax had quoted Anthony in January for around 45 million euros, something like that. That's what they were looking at the premium price for him. But when Manchester United stepped in,
But also, Timber actually rejected us. You know that, by the way.
Yeah. I told you already, because of the whole national Dutch thing. But my thing is this: they didn't come in and say 90 million because United wanted us. We dragged it out till the end of the summer, and their pre-season already started. This guy refused to play with them and train with them, and then it was because he was interrupting their camp. The stuff that it was interrupting with their club, they raised the price, which you would naturally. It's the same thing as me trying to buy a ticket outside United, and I didn't buy it online before. If I bought the ticket online for £100, I go outside the ground, someone can charge me 5 times that because I need it now. Everyone knew they pulled our pants down. That's the truth, and it happened multiple times. The following season, when we all said he overachieved, we were expecting him to be backed. He wasn't backed.
What's your point, then? Are you trying to say that basically the misconception that he was backed, and the type of money we bought for players is wrong?
No. This is me. Just because I'm saying this doesn't mean it devolves responsibility. It doesn't diminish his responsibility. I'm just saying when it comes to accountability, it's probably like 70-30. I don't like all of it slapped on the manager. Even though I don't want him for the club.
It's also player profile as well.
Which is what I'm saying, Inshallah. I'm not putting it all on Ten Hag, to be fair. I'm not putting it all on Ten Hag. I'm saying it's a team. You have a coach, you have the players that he wants, and you have the recruitment team. If Manchester United at the time has said, listen, I mean, one of it is the price, right? And the other is the profile of player. Is Anthony even what we should have targeted in the first place? Exactly. Those are two separate things. So the price situation is what it is. It's unfortunate because Manchester United was stupid. They've done this in the past. They overpay, they panic, and whatnot. But the profile of player, for me, is the bigger issue. Should we even have, because if Anthony was 30 million, it's just not going to change the player that he is, right? He's not. I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United. Ultimately, the profile of player is the key. That's why fans like myself are excited for people who are competent to come in, because they can look at what Ten Hag is doing. Like when Chelsea wanted to sign Olise, they couldn't get Olise. Who did they go get? Palmer for cheaper. And look at how good Palmer has been. I'm not saying their ownership hasn't made mistakes with recruitment, by the way, but I'm saying in terms of recruitment, that's what we do. We have not had a situation where we've done that at Manchester United, where we targeted a player, like we say we targeted Maguire. Man City pull out and like, we're not going to pay this much for Maguire because we don't think it's worth it. Manchester United persisted and then overpaid for him. This needs to stop. Like, so this coming summer, those are the kind of things I'm going to be looking at.
Exactly.
If INEOS are going to be different or if they're going to continue the same.
Brian, whose fault was that when we overpaid for Harry Maguire?
Well, see, whose fault? It's not. It's the recruitment team.
Ed Woodward.
No. Wait. So let me get this right, yeah. So when it's Anthony, wait. No. Let me get this right. So when it's Anthony, everyone's gonna say because of this veto thing. So when it's Anthony, it's Ten Hag's fault. But when it's
specifically
for me personally.
Oscar said I like this player as well, yeah, and he's on record saying I like Harry Maguire. I think he's a top centre back. I think he's a wonderful human being. His exact words. And we go spend 8 million on him, and he's worse. Nobody says him. They go say Ed Woodward. Come on, my guy. Come on.
So
for me, Estrella, for me personally, I don't put recruitment on Ten Hag. That's just me.
I do.
Not me. I don't.
If we look at it,
you go ahead, then I'm going to read the super chats. Go on.
So if we look at it, we would never have signed Anthony that summer unless we hired Ten Hag from Ajax.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true because we were targeting Anthony in December before Ten Hag even came in.
Where's
that I can send you. I can't find it now, but I'll send you the link. Saeed.
Please send me the link for that.
We had a report on him, like many other players. So we compile reports on thousands of players and we track them. But in terms of actually a concrete formal signing, there was no link there until obviously Ten Hag came in, and he said, "This is what I want." Like we went back and we signed Martinez. We went back to his old club and we signed because he wanted to work with players he trusted or whatever. But if you look at the transfer window, like Onana, he has not been good. People have been giving him compliments in the second half of the season. But listen to Ben Foster. Ben Foster has a podcast every week. He talks about all of the mistakes and shots. He knows, like, we don't know the technical aspects of what left leg you should be pushing off, what arm you should be pushing off when it comes to goalkeeping. The way Ben Foster talks about him, he talks about him like a Sunday league footballer. That he just doesn't have the basic technical aspects of keeping, man. That goal that City scored on the weekend, he nearly cost us the FA Cup, man. Like he nearly did, and that save that he made against Walker, that was a basic. People will say that was amazing, but that was a basic save. From that distance, you should be making it, and he did make it. But anything that goes low to the left or right, he for some reason, why does he go with two hands for that? I've never seen a keeper go for two hands.
And here's the thing, though. Yes, he targeted Onana, right? But it's Manchester United's responsibility. They are the one paying the wages and paying the fee. You do not just go off what the manager says. Ten Hag is not he's not an expert recruiter. He's not a scout. He's a coach, right? Coaches have very limited time. They're not going to watch thousands of goalkeepers. We pay scouts to do that.
No, I agree.
One thing. Granted, with Ten Hag, he understands. He's worked with Anthony. He works with Martinez. He's worked with Onana and Eriksen's Ajax Academy.
Yeah, it's natural.
So he understands certain players about what they're.
Which I'm not against.
So with Martinez, no one's complaining about his personality. Everyone loves his personality. If you're asking Ten Hag, what do you think of this guy? Is he got the right characteristics for Man United? He'd say yes. And he said that about Anthony as well. Now, we might be looking at Anthony 2 years down the line saying he's not good enough, But I understand why we would have gone for him. Forget the price. This is the thing. Don't be confounded by big club business. We're Man United Football Club. We do have to spend stupid money sometimes, It's ridiculous. But this is big club business. So when Arsenal fans or other fans tell us, you're spending that much, you're not dining on a big table like us. That's who we are. Yeah. That's what we have to do. Now, we have to change that a little bit, change our transfer policy with the people coming in. But all this thing we're talking about is in the past. I want to look forward, guys. You guys are holding on to a grudge about what happened with this signing and this signing. Forget that. What we want to do is develop players. Don't bring in players that are already developed somewhere else, at some other academy or some other level. We want to develop our own players, bring them into Man United and say, Ten Hag, you're the coach now. Forget about every other thing. You know, you don't want to swell up your big head. Just focus on the football side of things and develop these youths coming through and develop the people, develop the people currently in the club and play your brand of football, which you want to do. Granted, you didn't have the personnel to do that. Everyone's talking about no system and he needs to adapt and all that kind of thing. I can see a few mistakes with him, but overall, I still think the guy is good to go. And if you compare him with other managers that we're being linked with, I would still stick with 10.
That's what I'm going to ask you next. Yeah. Let me get these super chats in real quick. Big up to HK Moose says both Timber and De Jong didn't want to play for Erik ten Hag. Big red flag. His management we've seen isn't very good. And he also says here, let me read through it and we'll dissect it. Big up to again. He says Erik ten Hag's a bad coach. Are you people not watching games? He keeps the midfield wide open. This isn't an effing Eredivisie. You can't do this shit in the Premier League. People always talk about what he did against Madrid without looking how he did against Tottenham in Benfica. Both read that one as well. No one has an idea what Ten Hag plays, so providing him with the profiles makes no sense. Otherwise, his signings would have been team leaders, and they aren't. United would never have bought Anthony, Onana, Mount, and Højlund. Those are the Erik ten Hag signings, and most are under his agency and giving him under the rug. That's why Erik ten Hag didn't care about overpaying. That's another good point as well. SCG agency, we have to talk about that as well. Big allegations there. MD summarized that Licha and Onana have been the only leaders, and he gave Bruno the captain's armband instead of his signings. That makes no sense. Imagine if we gave Ralph 400 million instead of this bald fraud. We would have seen some serious ballers in his squad. And Jalapeno says, Ange, all keepers make mistakes. Neuer is the reason Madrid equalized. Ortega gave us our first goal. De Gea got us out of Europe. FA Cup last season. Big up Kaz, who just joined us in the building. Make sure you don't like the video. There's 1,000 people here. Not even 500 likes yet. Shout out to everybody who's here, donating and whatnot. Does anybody want to make a point there? Michael, was he gonna? Yeah, go on.
This guy called me Michael. You love it, innit?
Bro, Steven, go on.
I was going to say that the gentleman who done the super chat before, like, about players that wanted to come here, you can't blame the manager. Most players not going to want to come to United when our club's been in disarray for the name don't hold weight that much anymore, especially young talent. So you got to be careful what clubs you're going to, especially when you got a short career. And on top of that, like, I'm seeing other super chats about our what was the one I was laughing at side? I saw it just go past.
Which one? This one here? This one?
No, the one before.
I think it was the one in red.
Yeah, the one in red.
About Erik ten Hag is a bad coach, and you people are not watching games. He keeps the midfield wide open. This is an effort. The Eredivisie, you can't do that shit in the Premier League. People always talk about what he did against Madrid without looking how he did against Tottenham and Benfica.
So what we're doing up now is we're judging off one-off games now. We all just established before you can't keep him in the job because of the FA Cup. You're now going back to trying to an isolate situation as to why he's a bad coach. Evidently, like I've said already, everyone forgets stuff. He came to the club and inherited the worst United team ever. Yeah,
not right.
No,
the worst Man United team ever.
Not in terms of ability. In terms of just the way the club was run, in the way the club was run, and the
confidence wise.
Not going to say ability wise because we had a few good individuals.
We had ballers, man. We had ballers. Yeah.
But I just want to get to the point of like people forgetting he inherited that discombobulated squad. And then the following season, the majority of his signings that he wanted, they all got injured. So it was back to that dead squad that we said that wasn't good enough from the previous year anyway. So I don't know why people were surprised when we performed crap this season. He warned you pre-season. He said these. No. But the thing is this year, I don't want to do Ten Hag care or Ten Hag advocate. If INEOS, which I highly doubt, they say they're going to sack this guy tomorrow, I'm all for it. I don't care. As long as these players, as long as selected players go with him, yeah, then I'll be happy. If they don't, my back's against the wall. That's what I'm saying. I already said this already. I don't want to play defense to Ten Hag because he's stubborn. In-game decisions are very questionable sometimes. I'm not going to argue with him. There's a lot of areas to grow and work. But my thing is this. I'm not letting someone off the hook again. I can't write off another season again. It's not happening. By the way, big up, Kaz. I'll make you nice for me.
The question should be, is he the right person? Do you want to see him in the dugout next year? representing Manchester United as a head coach?
That's the question.
Yes. Are you going to give it a chance?
Well, but let me answer it. So I don't want that, man. Because the way I listen to all these press conferences, I listen to the way he talks. There's been so many games. Remember the Fulham game that with lack of so many games where there's like no energy, no togetherness in the team. That is derived from the coach. It's the way he talks to the players, the way he's able to bring the players together, the way he's able to empower the players, all those little things. The main thing for me is, as the figurehead of Manchester United, I am very underwhelmed. That's what we see. The way he talks in front of the media, the way he talks about the team, the way he talks about what's happening inside the club. Get us excited. Tell us, let us in, bro. Tell us.
And she's been bullied by the media since he got here. Come on.
Bullied.
Come on.
You don't. What are you? What?
Can I back?
How are you letting Samuel Luckhurst bully you? How are you letting bloody some guy called Peach bully you? You're the figurehead of Manchester United. You.
What do you mean by bullied as well? What does bullied mean?
I think there's a comment Ten Hag made. There's a comment Ten Hag made that really stuck out to me, which he said the mentality of the squad was very poor when he came in.
Which I agree.
I think part of the reason why he has been.
It's worse now, I must say.
I don't think it's worse now. I think the mentality of the squad, if we're being real, was terrible once Ole left, Ralph came in, and I think a lot of people's confidence was on the floor. Ultimately, the issue I think Ten Hag, what he had to do was find a balance between criticism, getting fire into these players, and putting an arm around their shoulder. And I think in the media, he's also tried to do the same thing too. Unfortunately, because he's trying to find a balance, and this is where a lot of people have problems. He sounds like he's lying a lot, where he'd be like, I think we played well, when we didn't really play well, we played shit. And if you saw the interview he did again with MUTV, where they asked him, he was literally like, oh, you remember the game against Crystal Palace? We played shit. I'm like, where has this honesty been? If you had been like this for the bulk of the season.
You can't do that though.
But that's what I'm saying. He has to find the balance. He has to find the balance.
He helps to make sure that the morale of the playing group remains high. I don't mind a lot of that stuff. It's just listening to talk about football. He doesn't make a lot of sense a lot of the time. I don't think he knows what he's doing a lot of the time. He's lost. He doesn't know how to build genuine, authentic relationships with the players. Yeah, so you build those individual, authentic relationships, and then you build a collective relationship with the players. That product you see on the pitch. That's why we look so disjointed a lot of the times. That's why some people are pressing, some people are not. He doesn't know how to bring a collective together. Maybe his lack of understanding of the English language or his ability to build personal relationships isn't there. That's why the players don't listen to him. If you listen to the players post game, whether it was on BBC or ITV on the weekend, they asked him, do you want Ten Hag to stay? And man to man, the players, except Johnny Evans was the only one, man to man, the players refused to answer the question. It's not if the players genuinely liked him and wanted him to be there, they would have come out and said, Erik Ten Hag's the man, we want him, blah, blah, blah.
Well, can I defend this?
Sorry, Kaz. Go on,
Kaz.
All right, I'm thinking about this. Look, I am not Ten Hag supporter, but I will be INEOS' supporter. If they want to back him, I will back him personally, innit? Like, even though I want him out. Does that make sense? I'm pro INEOS right now, even though I'm part of that. I like what they're doing, and I can't deny that because it's better than what we had before, and I like what I'm seeing. But let's not act like last year when he was talking about the exact same stuff. When he said that on the final day we go again, we got one more final to go. We wasn't clipping up. We was absolutely buzzing. Let's not pretend like last year we were loving what he was saying. We was loving what he was doing and stuff like that. It's just like, you know what it's come like? This year, it's, you know, when it's gone far beyond, it's like, you know, when if anyone's ever had an ex relationship and there's that point where you just get the ick, and then no matter what they say, you're just waiting for it to end. Like, you just can't wait. Just like, everything you say, no matter, even if it's good, even if it is good, I want to hear it. Like, it's just like, how it just got away. We were loving it last year. Most of us, anyways. I'm not gonna say everyone. Most of us were loving it. But
Kaz, this is what I said. I said this before you came on. I said the problem with a lot of people who are Ten Hag out view him as a bad coach. That's the problem. You're not going to change their mind fundamentally. So they see him as a bad coach. The difference is I don't think INEOS are going to see it like that. They're going to evaluate him based off the last 2 seasons and decide, should we stick to this guy or should we get someone that maybe would suit our vision better? It's as simple as that.
Right,
I don't know why people are making it a big deal.
That's better than Ten Hag. Be honest.
Not right now.
There is.
I mean, for me, personally, if I had to make a choice, I would go for Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon. I've been saying it
he's
for.
not available. It's not available. So
But I know. I just want to make it clear. This is who I would go for.
Okay. Okay.
When it comes to Potter, no. Poch, hell no. Who else? Southgate, you're fucking kidding me. Hell no. Who else? De Zerbi. Pochettino is hell no. No, I already said Pochettino.
Zerbi.
Oh no.
No. De Zerbi is. De Zerbi. Listen. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I wouldn't go for De Zerbi. Right.
Go on then. I'm gonna challenge you.
That's fine. Let me tell you why I won't go for De Zerbi. Okay. He plays one way. You cannot be the coach of Manchester United and not know how to win games when you are the underdog. Sir Alex Ferguson was the master at this. Okay? There are matches where we weren't expected to win. When we played that Juventus team in the 1999 up to the Champions, we were not expected to win. It was a tough game. De Zerbi is not that guy. He plays one way, right?
Okay,
and we don't have this.
It's not determined by the circumstances of where he is. The fact that he doesn't have the quality.
No, because this is his philosophy. This is how he thinks. He said it numerous times.
Can I push back on that, Brian?
No, hold on a minute. Ten Hag wins games because of the quality he has when we don't deserve a winning game. Yes or no?
Yes.
No, because Ten Hag in his career has proven to be flexible. That's the difference. Ten Hag has actually proven to be flexible. Because the way he played at Utrecht, combined with the way he played at Ajax, completely 2 different systems. He didn't play the same way. Sassuolo, the way De Zerbi played at Sassuolo, same way. Came to Brighton, same way. Win, lose or draw, he does not care.
Guardiola has one way of playing.
No, people make this mistake all the time. Pep Guardiola is a maniac. He doesn't play one way. He's changed his system different times. Same ideas and principles, but he's changed his system different times.
Can I just respond to that, right?
Really quickly,
De Zerbi is very. Let me just respond to that. So De Zerbi is very similar to Pep in the sense that their core philosophies stay the same, yeah, but they always adjust. Even De Zerbi adjusts to the opposition. They decide whether they want to overload one side, overloading the other side. Their core philosophy, which is short passing, positional play, stays the same. That's the same with Pep, but they are both obsessed with the opposite. And Klopp plays one way. It's high pressing. Maybe they'll change the way they press a little bit. Maybe they'll, but it's always about intensity, pressing. That's his core philosophy. De Zerbi is positional play in terms of build up from the back and so forth. They're core philosophy, but they're obsessed with how. So if the opposition played 3 at the back, they'll decide whether we should have 1 extra forward or 1 extra midfield.
Yeah,
they're not like, you know who doesn't change the way they play? Postecoglou. He's an idiot. He doesn't. So he stays the same. He plays 4-3. He doesn't change. But if you listen to the way De Zerbi talks about football, go listen. He's obsessed with what shape the opposition is, how they play, how they build up. Just listen to. He's obsessed with. Does he get found out sometimes because they're so aggressive and they?
Because of the quality, man.
It's not just that though. That's just one of the points.
Of course it does.
Well,
Of course it does. But he is obsessed with the opposition, and so is you have to be in the modern game. If you don't know what the qualities of your opposition are, how they're going to set up, then you're going to be found out in the long run. And De Zerbi, I think he's really good, but he's a maniac as well. He'll come in and start swearing, smoking a cigar. He's a bit of an old throwback Italian man.
He's a maniac, but is he the kind of guy that will come into Manchester United and not get overwhelmed by all these other things that you have to be a winner? Like, you have to win trophies at Manchester United. You have to be able to handle big money players, which is not easy because we've seen what happens.
Be good at that.
But I'm just saying, he hasn't. I haven't seen it from me, right? Because listen, I'm not going to argue with you and say he plays good football. He plays good football. But at Manchester United, there are many other things you need to look for in a manager. And for me, he doesn't look like the guy that just wants to come. He just wants to play his style. Listen, Italian clubs, I think Juve, Napoli, Milan, they're looking for new managers. They didn't look at the Zerbi. They didn't look at the
Because
Zerbi.
they already had Thiago Motta. And also, De Zerbi wants to stay in the Premier League as well. He doesn't want to go to Italy. He wants to stay in the Premier League. So that's that. Your point is nullified because he wants to stay in the Premier League. So I feel like there's a lot of agendas around De Zerbi, but people are not studying it, man. People are not studying his style.
De Zerbi is not, in terms of, if we're looking at it and De Zerbi, right? Ten Hag and De Zerbi, like we've talked about, if he's better, it's really not as big as you think.
Which is more sustainable, the football? Which is more sustainable, do you think?
I think both can get exposed in the Premier League. Ten Hag without the players, because Ten Hag doesn't have the players for his system. De Zerbi is going to face the same issue.
Yeah, but you said one thing. Yeah.
Let me quickly chime in really quickly.
Sorry.
I just want to go back really quickly. I want to address and your point when you was talking about Ben Foster because he's an ex-goalkeeper in the Premier League, talking about goalkeeping ability-wise. I don't think that's a good starting point for you to listen for advice. Gary Neville was a good right back. Gary Carragher was a decent centre back. I wouldn't listen to them as much as I'll listen to Saeed for certain advice. I don't think they're any more knowledgeable just because they played at an elite level. I could argue someone Saeed. Wait, I'm just saying.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, because you try to use it as gospel for your argument to say that because Ben Foster's
you're saying you listen to centre backs. How centre backs play Saeed more than Jamie Carragher?
I'm saying because Gary Neville was an ex-Premier League great right back or Gary Carragher was a centre back because they played in the Prem doesn't mean their opinion is far best. I'm talking, but if Saeed was to give me an analysis on football, doesn't mean his one is far better than that. There's not a massive differentiate. Just because one person said doesn't mean there's another. That's just my person.
How can I let this stand?
Let me land because there's 12 things. And Kaz, the relationship you was talking about, that's what I was talking about before you came on. You got to think of United as that nice girl in secondary school, innit? The nice one, the nicest one, yeah. And you know that boy that got excluded from school, but he would still be outside the school on the bike, saying, Watch this. This is United. United is that girl. That boy has run her through the wrangle, and she's managed to leave him. She managed to escape, She's run away from Diddy's mansion. She escaped. She's now hit up. She's now found an up-and-coming Premier League baller, He treats her nice, but just cheats on her all the time, But all her friends are saying, at least he doesn't beat you up no more. He doesn't do this and this and this to you. This is what I see INEOS as. They're the new person. Yes, you're better than the previous people, but you're not really giving me too much to be like, oh, wow, this is totally different.
Yeah, because I haven't got started yet.
Wait. But this is what I'm saying to everybody. When you're buying a club like United, an entity like United, it's not a quick step process. It's not a quick step process. They would have had to do an extensive research behind this, a business plan, business models. Though there have been different and numerous people involved in this acquisition. You've been in place for 6 months now, my guy, and I've only seen you employ a couple of people.
Brother, you've had a couple of people who've been on gardening leave, People.
That's even mad. The people you've employed, they're on gardening leave. Come on.
What do you want to do? This is legal, bro. You're a solicitor.
You can't get them options. You can't find any options.
They don't. Chelsea actually have a director that hasn't. He just recently started work because he was on gardening leave. Yes. There's not much Manchester United can do.
Please, I don't like this argument. Please don't compare United to other clubs like Chelsea because it's not fair. No,
Estrella, this is legal contracts. Manchester United cannot force a man to work during gardening leave. This is simply what it is.
Wait, that is fine, but it's cool. That is fine. Find somebody else you can come in now. Are we gonna go? Look what you're saying.
That makes no sense.
Brian, in the summer, are we gonna go sign an injured player and be like, come later on? You're gonna come later on. It doesn't make sense. We wouldn't do that.
No, they want who they want. You just said, right? Hold on, Saeed. You just said they wanted to come into Manchester United for over 6 months. So they had men in mind who they wanted to get. Now, they decided this is who I want. And let's be real, right? We've complained about this with Manchester United. If you target a player, want a player, go get the player. Same thing. You target a director or executive for your structure. It's going to take time. Yes. Go get him. If he's on gardening leave, it's what it is. Like, well, why should we change? Why should we change? Go ahead.
I was gonna say it should have been a seamless transition.
Okay.
I don't
So
understand.
you want hold on a minute. So I'm gonna say you wanted these guys to come in straight away, and
Yeah.
INEOS to pay whatever that needed to be paid for them to be starting their job straight away. That's what you wanted. Yes or no?
Saeed,
Hold on.
yes. Because I look at it like I look at this like buying a house like a startup house. Yeah, you know how much it's going to cost you, and you're going to factor in. Oh, this is going to cost X, Y, and the third. This is going to cost X, Y, and the third. You don't wait. Buy the thing and then start going. Let me do this. Let me find the best specialist for this, but they're not available yet. Let me do this. You know you've got an end date. Everyone forgets that. This is why I'm getting angry. Jim Radcliffe, before we said he was up for sale, already spoke to the Glazers. This is when I think they already colluded and came up with this whole plan about them getting the 20%. Yeah. So it's like, if we're going to go back with my theory, because this is how I think, you've gone back from then, you came out saying they're really nice people, blah, blah, blah. 6 months later, all of a sudden, the club's up for sale and then you're putting in 20%. My thing is, you already knew what you wanted to do. You really knew what you wanted to acquire. Why wasn't the transition seamless?
This is
why
flawed,
wasn't
though.
it seamless?
Because-
this is flawed. This is
Let Kaz
flawed.
come in. Let Kaz come in. Go on, Kaz.
Mm.
I
And
know,
I'm gonna
yeah,
read super chats after that.
That's kind of flawed in a way because first and foremost, Ratcliffe or Ineos' statement, Ratcliffe, let's say Ratcliffe, he wants the best in class in for what positions
Yeah.
they are. So he needs to stick to his word to that for us United fans to make believe because as far as we know, most of us wanted Qatar. We wanted the bread. Like we know that Saudis or Arabs and all that are quite very competitive and it's not for a commercial gain. It's just more for legacy, you could say, in a way. I could be wrong. I don't know everyone obviously like that. Why you're flawed is because relationships matter in football. And we've been saying that over and over again. Yes, that person over in Atletico Madrid, I can't remember his name exactly, or someone over in Roma, one of their directors of football, they can come in, but it doesn't mean that established relationship with someone like, you know, Omar Barada, who's got an already relationship with Dan Ashworth. Dan Ashworth's already got a good relationship with Wilcox. We all talk about harmony at Man United. This is the points you're missing. So if we have to wait and be patient, you know, they always say patience is a virtue. That's why I'm being patient with this part of things because relationships matter. And that all we talk about is how toxic it is behind the scenes. You know, these people might not even know each other behind the scenes, like Omar Barada, the CEO, Wilcox, one of them ones. You could change up. There's obviously different people that you can go and grab, of course, but they clearly stuck to one direction and they said, you know, we want him. We're not paying 20 million because we're not dickheads, right? And at the same time, if we have to be patient, I'm pretty sure the club should be able to function enough with the amount that we pay for scouting to go and get capable enough. And let's be real, Dan Ashworth's on the burner. Like, come on, man. Do you think these men are really sitting pretty? No, they're on the burners. And also, that's an assumption, of course. But I know what human beings are like. So on that notice, I feel like it should be able to function enough correctly to go in through the season. You know, like Barada's got enough experience. Wilcox has got good experience. And I'm pretty sure we're looking at other people in positions that can provide good intel. That's why we're still looking at
And also,
other.
one thing that he hasn't mentioned, I don't know why he's not mentioned, Mr. Estrella, is Brailsford's coming early, and also Joe Wilcox is coming early. But he didn't mention.
And Jean-Claude is also on the board.
Exactly. But you didn't mention them guys, did you? But let me get these super chats anyway. Big up to HK Music says the Zerbi philosophy doesn't create gaps in midfield. Erik ten Hag is not flexible. He waited the whole season to sit back and counter-attack last 4 games. De Zerbi took Brighton to Europe for the first time ever. Summarizes, he's a bad coach because we have eyes. The performance against teams we should walk over and struggle against are the weakest in the Premier League, Champions League, and the FA, etc. And Jalapeno says, Saeed, De Zerbi finished 6th in the last season, 62-point goal difference, 62.19 goal difference. This season, finished 11th, 48 points, -7 goal difference. And you prefer him over Ten Hag? Yes, because I believe in the football philosophy, we will be far better for De Zerbi than Erik ten Hag. Long-term wise, sustainable wise. And also, look at this as well. I think INEOS apparently put out something outright. It's just come out now, apparently. I don't know if it's true or not, but they put Sir Jim Ratcliffe's 5 new Man United rules. First one is age limit of 25 for new signings. No Galacticos. Style of play to be set by technical director Jason Wilcox. Manager to be asked what position he wants to sign, not what player. INEOS to send lists of 3 signings per position for manager to choose from. That's something that came out before. Whether it's true or not, it's a different question, but I just want to put that out there. But anyway, let's stick with the manager because I want to say, like, is because there's a myth, right, about trophies equating to whether he's an upgrade on Ten Hag, you know what I mean? Whether Zerbi might come in next season and win trophies. You know what I mean? United always win trophies. You know what I mean? That's just something that we're ingrained.
That's
with.
not true.
Well, you know, the history just
We didn't win trophies under Ole.
No, I'm just saying most of our managers do leave with something, even in bad times.
Well, we get at least
do
we
leave
get
with
finals.
something.
Mourinho,
We get to
so-
finals. We get to whatever. You know, United win trophies. So this idea that De Zerbi can't come to Man United next season and win a trophy, I think I've seen some mad stuff come out there. But we're talking about long-term sustainability. If they give Ten Hag one more year, do you realize, Brian, that they now should offer him a new contract? Do you realize that? They can't just say 1 year, relax. They've got to offer him a contract then. And then are you happy with that? Are you happy with that then?
I made my position very clear. Whatever INEOS want to do, I'll back it.
But that's
right?
not
Because
right, though, is it? When you look at it, it's not right when you think about it. It's crazy.
Saeed, this is where we need to, as fans, like I said, we need to come together because we don't know. We can have as passionate opinions as we want to have, but we don't know, right? Because the options on the market for the manager is De Zerbi. There is no guarantee. We might play a little bit better football, but you don't know. Again, if we brings De Zerbi in, he will say he finishes 4th. Then what's the next expectation for him to challenge for the league? He's never been in that position before.
That's a flawed. That's a flawed argument.
No,
as well,
I'm saying. We Manchester United. What is our ultimate goal? What do we want? We want a manager that is capable of winning the Premier League.
Of course,
that's it. Okay. With De Zerbi, it was still going to enter this void of we don't know. Ten Hag is the same situation. Now it's a different kind of situation, but we don't know. There's too many definitive statements of we sack Ten Hag, we bring in De Zerbi, and all of a sudden we're going to play this good football and things are just going to be fine. I have not heard one person say that they want De Zerbi say one negative thing about him. Not one.
I can easily off the bat, but I want him though. That's the thing. I think there's a flawed argument.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a flawed argument there as well.
I know Mr. Forbes wants to talk as well, and he's been patient to be fair. But
we'll get
I apologize for taking a little bit of the conversation. But with Brian, what you said on the market, there's nothing. What about next season? If there's still no managers on the market, then where are we going to go?
You just stay where you are.
Then on that consensus, we've just wasted a whole year because guess what? There's a man that's without contract. Should we just keep him because you know what? There's nothing better.
No, that's not why I would keep. That's not the argument I'm making. That's not why I would keep Ten Hag. And by mind you, my preference before Saeed asks this question, and I want Amorim. So I want Yaba should go ahead because I know he's been waiting to speak for a while. So,
well, anyways, just.
Yeah, let me say this. So we're talking about the manager, and obviously we're at the end of the season now. So we all agree, INEOS, the setup they're doing now with all the new guys coming through, they need to be on board as a one big team to say this is what we have to do. So discussions have to be had with INEOS, the team, the structure of Man United, with the head coach currently, which is Ten Hag, and the discussion needs to be what you put up there. Earlier there, Saeed, you put up a nice thing saying we need to buy players at a certain age. Then we need no more Galacticos. All this criteria. Can Ten Hag meet this criteria? Can he impress them enough? Can he work with Jason Wilcox, who's going to be the new technical director? These are the questions that Ten Hag needs to answer and prove to INEOS that he can do these things. Now, I'm looking at that and saying, I think he can. But we talk about other managers coming in. They got a disadvantage because they have to come in and sell themselves without knowing the players personally, without being in around the club. We've got guys been there for the last 2 years. And while behind the scenes, the club is churning away to change the structure. And now we get to the stage where it's like, right, we can have this conversation. Last year was different. Now we've got better people in place. Meet with these guys. Can you deliver? These are the key performance indicators. This is what we want you to achieve. Like an appraisal, we assess it at Christmas, see where you're at, and go from there. We understand that you've been doing a job and a good job, mind you, with 2 trophies, for example. You've been doing a job with conditions that ain't really suited for a top flight club to achieve our goals. Long term, we want to be champions again. Major trophies. I love the FA Cup, but it's not a major trophy for me. It's about the Champions League. It's about the Premiership for the size of our club. So long term, that's the goal. How do we take baby steps towards that? And the manager has to prove to these guys that he can do it. Then they would say to Wilcox, what do you reckon, bro? Do you reckon you can work with this guy? He might say, boy, he's ignorant. He's not really listening. Or whatever the conversation is. But that's the conversation that needs to be had. So I think Ten Hag, first of all, after the season, he's going to have a rest, go and meet with these guys and decide. And then if they're going to interview other people, which they might do, the Zerbi or whoever it may be, these guys have to come in and impress them enough to say, actually, this guy is going to deliver, even though we don't know. There's no evidence to back that, as we're talking about with the Zerbi. I don't think there's enough evidence to say that he could work with the players and work with these big superstars, because this is a major thing with Man United. Why do you think over the last 10 years we failed to make it with so-called top flight managers coming in to manage the club? It hasn't worked out because there's an issue. I think the inherent issue with this big club mentality and the big club players. I ain't doing that. Oh man, Sancho could just walk off and say sorry, if that, or Ronaldo could say, hey, this is ridiculous. This is disrespectful. You don't get that at Brighton. This is why they've been successful. Occasionally, look at Ipswich coming up playing good football. Under McKenna, what's his name? Kieran McKenna.
McKenna. Yeah.
These guys are like playing good football. They're all on a nice level. I bet they all go out together and socialize, and they're on the up. They're looking at the Premiership, saying we can get, that's the goal. We can get that. They're hungry. They're ambitious. At a club like Man United, you need to have one discipline, and I think Ten Hag's brought that at the expense of losing some players. We've lost Sancho. We lost these certain players which have hurt us this season. But the discipline has to be there. That's been lacking. Slap these players up, string them up, get them out of the club if they're not performing properly or they're not acting right. That's why I'm happy with Ten Hag. He's done that. Secondly, is to play a good brand of football. We desire that as fans. We're drooling to see a good brand of football. He needs to do that. He needs to, first of all, change the players and the personnel, and then bring that in. If we can see something promising coming through over the next year, then we're down with that, even though we've had a blip this season. People are saying, oh, Angie came in and instantly they changed. We saw an identity, Oh, they're saying, who's the other guy? Zerbi, instantly we saw an identity. Why don't we see that at Man United? There's the answer, because you're dealing with high-profile players, and there's a big difference. To get these managers, it's not automatic that these managers will come into a big club. That's why they don't manage at big clubs to do that. The best manager out there right now is in Real Madrid, doing a Champions League final again, right? And he's played. Go look at 1989, 1989 AC Milan side. He's played with big time players. Okay, he knows what it takes to be around big time players. That's why he manages big time clubs and has the secret to getting the best out of these players. That's something we're not talking about right now.
No, who's been around big time players? Ten Hag.
Ancelotti. I think
Ancelotti's talking about.
But the issue you said,
why I think he's got the mentality to get the best out of these guys.
Quick one, you say a good brand of football, but at the same time, he doesn't know how to identify a player's strengths. He tries to make a guy who runs channels and go in behind as a target man because he's big and he's got some sort of structure to him. He tried to make an inside forward in Marcus Rashford, a wide playmaker, when there's one sitting on the bench called Amad Diallo all season, right? He's made Bruno Fernandes not a shadow striker anymore. And I don't get wrong, I don't like Bruno personally, but I think there's definitely an underlying quality there in his strengths. He's tried to make him, so I don't know what you want to make him these days. He's tried to make Casemiro play football and think he can play it by himself. You brought in Amrabat and you didn't use that when he could do that sort of job since he done it at Fiorentina. Wait, hold on. And the only thing I'll give him praise apart is the defense. I don't think you can really do much on that part since there's been bare injuries. In my opinion, I think he has got the best out of Delo to a point and to a degree. But when it comes to anything moving forward, yes, you can play good football, but is it effective enough to actually get you chances to anything? Because last time I checked, he tries to do all the overload stuff. He tries to, build up from the back and all that kind of stuff. But we don't see anything. Like, mate, it put me off going Old Trafford. I don't want to see that shit. Like, honestly, you can say you can go play great football, but I don't believe him and his coaching team do anything on that field enough for these players to drill it in that works in the Premier League enough anyways to suit what we need. And that's actually
I just want to ask a question. I just want to ask the question to the whole panel. If Ten Hag
making a decision, because if he's drilling Ten Hag like that, then boy, Ten Hag's in trouble.
I just want to ask a question to the whole panel. If Ten Hag, right, was able to get the right profile of player, do you think he'd be able to coach Manchester United to play better?
Yeah.
Well, I
can't lie. Not with that 3-1-6. Not with the 3-1-6 lack of control.
He's such a flawed person and manager. Why?
I don't believe it. No one can play 3-1-6. That even Rodri needs help.
Yep.
Okay. So just this 3-1-6, because a lot of people's issues is the big emptiness in the midfield that keeps swallowing all our midfielders. what's supposed to happen, and I was talking about this very early on in the season, we are supposed to have our fullbacks come into the middle to help our rest defense. Luke Shaw, I'm sorry, but he's not good at doing this because his spatial awareness is terrible. Dalot, even though he's our player of the season, had to learn it this season because he's never played that position before. He's never played as an inverted fullback. And as the season has gone on, you've seen him steadily learn to play this position because he's younger. He's younger than Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw does not doing it. Dalot now, because of, again, injury crisis happens. Our whole play-out structure. When Ten Hag was at Ajax, he had 4 players in his back line who could play out of the back in any position, any situation, comfortably. They did some risky stuff. People think Zerbi was doing risky stuff, is doing risky stuff at Brighton. What Ten Hag was doing at Ajax was crazy. I'm not saying that he hasn't made mistakes, and his profiling of players has been terrible. I love Rasmus Højlund, and I was saying it throughout the whole season. He's not a target man. He's not a target man. Play him, let him attack players, and you see how good this guy is. He didn't do it until the end of the season. And, we've seen what he can do when he comes up to the bench and he can go up against center backs and defenders. So these are the kind of things he needs to, evolve as a coach, to be able to use profiles in the right way, which I think he can do because he's shown that he's done it. But the stubbornness he has I agree with you, is bad.
And that's
Brian,
part of his game,
Wait, Saeed, really quick,
Brian, the thing is, the position, what you're saying is the positions players pick up in rest defense, so when we're attacking, is on the individual play. It's coaching. That is like, these are not like dumb people. Luke Shaw's not a dumb person, or like, it's coaching. Ten Hag needs to coach him that you need to be in this position when we've got the ball in this area.
Just let me, because we saw Emerson Royale play football in inverted. Go on, continue. And he's crap.
No, of course he did. It's about communication. It's about teaching. Like you're saying, it goes back to can Ten Hag teach the players to actually? Is he even teaching him to be in these positions in the first place?
Yes.
So
I'm
not blaming Luke.
If you go back to the first game of the season,
he doesn't know how to pick up. He doesn't know how to pick up positions so that we're not counter-attacked against. But let me just go to this point, because I think what the question is. Who's going to be our next manager, or is Ten Hag going to be the next manager? There was a report out about 2-3 weeks ago that Jason Wilcox, because he's the one that's basically the person that's going to determine what style we play and so forth, that they want a possession-based manager. Yeah, that they want INEOS want a possession-based manager. Yeah, they've decided that's our philosophy for Manchester United. That is not Ten Hag. All season, the reason we've got exposed is we press so high, and then our defense is retreating, and now there's this big space in between our defense and our forward position. That is not Ten Hag. So, in my opinion, they're going to go for a manager that can play possession-based football. So, if we think about who they're going to pick, if we're having this discussion again, Saeed, in about a month's time, when they've made the decision on the manager, my feeling is that the person that's going to be the manager of Manchester United is going to be somebody that plays possession-based football, whether it's Zerbi or whoever else. I don't think it's going to be Ten Hag. If you read between the leaves, if you read all the reports, I'm telling you it's going to be a possession-based. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, and we'll come back to this conversation in a month. But that's what I reckon is going to happen.
Before you go, Steve, I'm just going to read a couple of super chats here. Ryan says, I can barely name you games we've won convincingly last season. 90% of the games we won felt like a robbery or individual performance. And this one here says, how is Erik Ten Hag going to get the right players when he don't even know the right players for his own system? So how is anyone else going to be able to get players for this system? This is what I'm saying. I feel like the system is flawed, so that's why they're taking their time, and they probably know anyway that, this guy won't fit what we're trying to do anyway. So if we give him players, I don't generally believe it can fit what he wants to play. We've seen it with so many players now. Mason Mount, for some reason, struggling to get into the team. I'm about to come in, but still, man, when he was fit for
there is no still injured, and he came off a poor season the previous season.
He was available, man. There was multiple games where he was on the bench, bro. What are you talking about?
What, Saeed? This is what I don't like, and Kaz, I need to address you as well, because Wait, Kaz, you're gonna get addressed because I actually watch you, and I watch you on big up rants.
Pause. Pause. What are you watching, G? Like,
oh man, stop that lava for that man. That's lava.
Amrabat was available. Amrabat was available.
Wait, Saeed, wait. Obviously,
Answer the questions though, man.
Wait, just wait. I've watched you previously on Rant Stream, and when we was talking about managers, you said you'd see that out of the process. You like see it out. Like,
me or
you did.
Me, but I haven't been on Rant's stream before.
No. This was last year because I recognize your face. Like, yes, I know. I remember when it was you, Rants, Saeed Nuruddin.
Oh, he was on a show. He was on a show together.
He was on a show. Yeah. You're basically talking about the whole process and everything that was going on, right? And you was like, "Oh yeah, I'm tired of chopping and changing. Let's just be because it's not going to be an easy run. There's going to be ups, and you said it yourself, going to be ups and downs. We're going to go through it. You're not even abiding to what you said. That we've gone to the downs, and it's all of a sudden get rid. I'm with everybody in this chat. Everyone's getting tired of not seeing a style of play or the manager being stubborn or tactical awareness. If you're going to get rid of him, get rid of him. I don't care.
No, can you go back to my point, though? You haven't still answered my point. What was I wrong in saying he had players available and he didn't want to play them?
Watch this. Check this. Everyone keeps saying Amrabat. I know for a fact, and you know for a fact, don't be disingenuous here. That wasn't on his first. That was not the first names on his list going into the window. It wasn't his second, and it wasn't his third. If I remember correctly, Frankie De Jong, Rabiot, and there was
last season. That was last season. That was the season before that.
He was linked to him in January again. January again was linked to him because they hadn't signed a new contract yet. Let's not do that.
He waited all summer to go and sign. Yes. This guy, he signed him on transfer deadline day, bro.
Because that was the only thing that was given to him. When you wanted
to be fair,
can I ask you this quick question? Let me guess. Is there any relationship between Amrabat and Ten Hag?
Yes, SEG agency. Agency.
No,
he played for him at Utrecht
as well. Yeah,
he played for him at Utrecht.
But hey, don't worry about that. This was just a coincidence.
But here's the thing with Amrabat. Let's be fair. He wasn't supposed to be a starter.
This big of a pass. He coached.
Amrabat was signed.
And then we're saying this is not his signing. How is this happening? Where are we?
By the way, Brian, I'm not saying to be starter. I'm not saying to be starter, but he's going on about there was no options. And
no, I never said no options. Saeed, you're moving the goalposts. I never said there were no options. I didn't say no goalposts. What do you mean goalposts? Watch this.
Oh my days.
This is wait, Kaz, wait.
That is under SEG.
Kaz, wait. This is why I want Ranks to jump in the chat. This is why I want Ranks to jump in the chat, yeah? Because he will tell the truth. Even though he will say that he wants a manager out, I already know his position on the manager. My thing is that he won't be disingenuous. Amrabat was not the first names on this guy's mouth. Pause.
Nice.
I know for a fact. Or you can keep saying lies if you want to, but we can just go back. Go to Sky Sports.
We can go back, brother. You want to go back, bro? Let me tell you who was his first option in the midfield. Let me tell you who was his first option in the midfield.
Forbes and Brian Staffy at the end of last season. I do not show me any of you guys' Twitter when you're saying going into the next season. None of you ever said midfield. Amrabat to solve the problem. You're disingenuous.
Why are you blaming us? Why are you blaming us? Wait, hold on. Why are you blaming us?
No.
We're talking about the manager's ID.
Was there any link between Amrabat
and just me? I need to address this.
Wait, hold on. There was a link. All summer there was a link with Amrabat.
Yes,
all summer, and then it ended up getting done. Okay. Can I just say one thing? I won't make it long.
Yeah.
My feeling is Ten Hag, he's not the most he hasn't got the biggest personality. Yeah. So my feeling is Ten Hag struggles to build relationships with players. So what he does is he goes back to people that he already has relationships with. Yeah. So he goes back to players from his old club. He goes back to players in the same agency, or that he's coached like three. He got Amrabat from FC Utrecht. Like he because he struggles to build those personalized relationship with players, he goes back to what's tried and trusted. That's my feeling. And he's afraid of signing a player that he might not get along with. I think that's my feeling. I'll finish.
You're cooking there. You know why? Because he did the same thing with Mount. Let's not forget that he recruited Mount when he was in Vitesse. So when Estrella says it wasn't his first option, you know why it wasn't his first option? Because his first option, the first thing he did in the summer was sign Mason Mount. And with the remainder of the money, we struggled to sign Amrabat. We couldn't even sign Amrabat on a permanent transfer. So we had to wait until deadline day to get him on a loan. That's how much he wanted him.
We
So
had to
when
wait
you
for Fred
say,
to leave.
so when you
That's
sit
cap.
here and say that it's not cap, I'm telling you the truth,
I'm
bro.
reading
Whether
it
you want to
right now, bro. I'm reading it right now. I'm reading it right now.
we can't see what you're reading, bro. What is that? Tom and Jerry? I can't see what that is. I swear, I couldn't tell what that is. What are you
Let's-
reading, brother? We're
The
all
thing with
reading the
Amrabat,
same
right?
thing
I think we're all missing the point here.
Right now, Sky Sports News. Even the signing at the end of the summer in September, my guy. Let's not do this for.
What does it say? What does it say? What does it say?
Manchester United complete the signing of Fiorentina midfielder Sofian Amrabat. United pay 8.5 million to take Moroccan international on a season-long loan. The option to buy. The article was written 2nd of September. It says previous discussions leading up 2 weeks prior to this date. So if you even do the math yourself, this is the 2nd of September, and it says
What are
2
you
weeks
doing?
before. When does the summer start?
Wait, Australia, no disrespect here. Discussions started 2 weeks ago, meaning for his signature. It started 2 weeks prior. It doesn't mean talks didn't happen before that.
Yeah,
only the discussion was there.
You
I'm
don't
not trying to
discuss
belittle you or nothing, but you have to read between the lines.
Come on, man.
So-
That's how it
So
works.
wait,
man.
is that what we're doing now? Because if I was to type in right now, yeah.
Okay, what's the argument here? Because I'm a little lost. What's the
No.
People in this chat are now trying to justify and say that there was elements for Ten Hag to use to finish in a better place or to have a better season. My thing that I'm saying is this: regardless of those elements are there to be used, those are not the plays that he should be given. At the end of the last season, we all said he overachieved and he should be properly supported. He wasn't.
So let me ask you something. Since you're complaining so much about the DM that he got, why did he prioritize Mount? Why did he prioritize Mount, who's an advanced?
I don't know if he did that. I don't know if he did that, Safi. I told you. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? It was his first signing. It was the first guy we
Because
signed.
does that mean that was his signing? I don't.
To be fair,
So what do you
Staffy.
want to go by? So what facts do you want us
To
to
be
go
fair,
by?
Staffy,
Because you
he actually targeted Xavi Simons first, but he had already moved. That's why we went for Mount.
Xavi Simmons. When did
Brian.
Yeah,
By the way,
we were
I
linked with
hope-
Xavi Simons.
When were we
Brian,
linked with Xavi Simmons?
I quick one.
We were linked with Xavi
I
Simons.
just want to state this before we move forward. I'm not saying by any means that Ten Hag get all of his first signings. However, priorities are set by him because he was having the full say on transfers and he was telling what he need. The season before, when we wanted De Jong and we spent all summer trying to get De Jong, and then we delayed Anthony towards the end because the right wing wasn't the high priority. The high priority was the midfield and the center back, which is why those are the two that he wanted to get first. Obviously, he got Martinez first, but he didn't get De Jong. The reason we got Anthony late was because that wasn't the priority. Same thing last summer. When you look at this summer, the summer that just ended, the first signing we had ready was Mason Mount. And let me tell you something. As soon as the season ended, Mason Mount dropped a video with blonde hair when he was sending a message to the Chelsea fans saying that he's gone or whatever. Mason Mount at the time didn't have blonde hair. He recorded that video weeks ago. That's how long that signing was. If you remember, Saeed, how pissed Chelsea fans were when that came out because they were like, this is not even a new video. This was recorded when he had different hair. You can't tell me it wasn't a priority when he was signed super early. Bro, did not give him the number 7 shots and he told me that wasn't his priority? Come on, man.
Yeah, and also, by the way, the article came out. He personally went to Mason Mount's house to convince him.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, remember that?
Do you remember that? So that's
massively.
not a ball signing. That's a him
What's
signing.
that got to do with the price of the bread?
It's not about the price. It's not always about the price. The price is the fact that he had a vision in his head how he wanted to play. You told me when I was on here, by the way, I forgot that. I was on here.
To be completely honest,
one sec.
To be completely honest, I don't think it.
One sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
He addressed me saying I was here. Yes, I was willing to back it. Yeah, until, bro, it's like through sickness and health. But at the same time, bro, if it's going down and keeps going downhill, and then I'm looking at my workplace, the standards of this is in the mud. Yeah, 8
You're doing David Cameron. You want to do David Cameron? You're jumping shit.
He sold me a dream. He sold me McDonald's, haram burgers, all sorts. Yeah. When I tell you now, I did not expect to be one of the worst footballing sides in Premier League this season. To the point we got outplayed by effing Burnley. Yeah, both times. Do you understand? So on that note, I did not expect.
About MK Dons. What are you talking about, Kaz?
One sec. Yeah. We struggled against Newport County. Yeah, 4-2. We struggled against them, man. The whole point is I can pinpoint loads of different points, and you probably can yourself. And I don't mind that. I'm just trying to justify my point why when Bournemouth 3-0 us at Old Trafford, that was my time. I was like, I'm done. So to say I didn't back it until then, I did back it until I saw it. Yes, I did.
understand?
Yes, no. What do you mean? No, that's your opinion. My
Yes.
opinion is the thing is I did not expect for it to go that left. I thought at least if you're going to suffer, at least let it be up and down. No, bro, it was down, down, down. The only thing that got us a high was, let's be real, was that FA Cup. We finished bottom of a Champions League group. And credit, you know what? It's probably Onana's fault more time than the coach. He did coach some wins, and I did see some stuff. But at the same time, we have Mr. Elite Pundit saying flexibility. His flexibility is going back to counter-attack because he don't know what else to do with these lot. You find solutions, even if it's not your first choice signing. It doesn't matter if it's not your first choice.
Look at this, Estrella. You watching this?
I already told you.
One second. I can back up one more point. Pep, do you think Mateus Nunes was Pep's first choice? He wanted Declan Rice. Guess what? He's still done the 4-peat with my man. He wasn't his first choice. He was actually one of his fifth choice. You adapt to players.
The moment you mention Pep, you lose the argument. The moment you mention Pep,
it isn't. The whole point is, the whole point is, managers don't always get their first choice signings. Actually, you know what? That's actually probably a lesson in life. Lesson in life, you don't always get what you want.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
True. It's true.
Your point is incorrect. Your point is incorrect. Your point is incorrect. Managers don't always get their first signing. Yes, that's true. But managers don't consistently not get what they want. But why are we doing this? And secondly, Saeed, we spoke about this already. Even though it's a Netflix series, that stuff actually happens in real life. The designated survivor, what we was talking about. Yes, a man can say that for publicity, for statement, I wouldn't have accepted this job. How many times have you heard a player
publicity now?
Wait, how many times have you heard a player say? How many times?
Big up Northside for the raid.
Wait, let me land my point. How many times have you heard a player say, I wouldn't have come to United if I didn't want to win things. I love this club. I've always been a massive fan.
That's not the same thing, bro. That is not the same thing.
They get sold and say it to another club as well.
That is not the same thing. That is not the same thing. Saying I wouldn't take the job without a certain stipulation is different than saying, oh, I wouldn't have joined this club if I didn't think I would win trophies. That's different, bro. If Saeed tells me you got to join, I'm invite you to the show and I'll pay you 20 quid, and he decides not to pay me, I'll be like, Saeed, you promised me money, but I'm not coming on. But if Saeed from the beginning didn't say anything, I'll be like, yeah, I joined because this, and that. That is different, bro. A stipulation to take a job is different than saying your ambition to join a club. I feel like you're just deflecting everything off the manager, not to blame for anything.
Wait. The veto power thing.
Semantics, man.
Hold on. Are we talking about the veto situation with Ten Hag? I think we're being a little bit unfair.
Yeah, veto and also the control.
He's not the only one with veto power, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
They all have the ability to say, no, we don't want this transfer. That's all I'm going to say. It's not just him.
That, Brian.
No, we know
that.
It's not that you don't know that. All I'm saying is this: is that everyone keeps arguing the point about the whole signings, the us playing bad on the pitch and stuff. Yeah, you're roping it all in together. Separate the two. I'm saying yes, the signings have been poor. Yes, there's been overspendage. Yes, there's been poor player scouting. Yes, I understand that. But stop roping it and just slapping it on one individual.
Okay.
No. But I was arguing your point that you keep saying.
We was all glazed out less than 6 months ago, yeah? A couple people have been fired, and now everyone's completely changed their tune, and you're doing the same thing again. Get the manager out. Can you not open your eyes?
No one changed the tune on the manager until we seen the regression on the pitch.
Yeah.
Stop mixing the two.
Yeah,
what we were talking about,
mixing the two too much.
What we were talking about right now, the fact that you keep saying he didn't get all of his first options. We named a few of his first options, but then now you're speculating, saying, "Oh, no, but we don't have proof." But you also don't. Brother, do we have to go through the names again?
Tell me his first options, please. Because the first
one we just talked about Mount. What more do we have to talk about?
I don't believe that was the club signing. I've just told you the club signing. I don't believe it was his signing.
How do you know it's a club signing? Wait, how do you know it's a club signing? I'm so confused.
Can I just say this?
If it says he has the right to veto any move, but then he allowed it, and I see my man tapping him on the chest, telling him, I want you to be an important player this season, and gives him the 7, and then you're telling me it was a club signing. He also came out and said, I wanted Casemiro and De Jong, and you guys listen to me. Hold on, listen to me. Everyone said Casemiro was a club signing until he came out and said, I actually wanted to put Casemiro and De Jong together. So which one is it, bro? Is it all club signing? Brother, you're not listening to me. You took the De Jong part and you ran away with it. How about the Casemiro part? Because everyone all season said Casemiro was never his signing. He just proved that he got half of his signing. Why are we not going back and saying, you know what? We were wrong for saying that he didn't want Casemiro, because he clearly came out and used his own mouth and said, I wanted Casemiro.
This is the same guy that said, De Gea, you're part of my plans. Ronaldo, you're part of my plans. The guy's a liar. Stop it.
So now he's a liar. Bro, it's anything to defend him, bro. So do you want me to go by his own word?
Let's get some. Guys. Yeah, man, chill. We need to chill because at the end of the day we're gonna wrap up.
Calm. I'm just getting passionate. Calm.
No. Okay. Let me hit Ange and Yaba because obviously you man can't be hogging the mic, man. But listen, Yaba, Ange go, then Yaba go. Yeah.
I'll say this about Mount, that he wanted to play with 2 number 10s. He wanted. We look at the Wolves game. That was exactly. If you have all pre-season to set up, and then that's the way you set up that Wolves game. Do you remember how wide open we were and Wolves were getting through us? Because he wanted to win the ball back high up in the press, in their forward line. That's why we were like, Bruno and Mount are in the box, and then we've got Varane and Martinez in our own box. It was like the weirdest thing ever. It was like the disparity between our forward line and our. That's the way. So what he did is he wanted to play a Liverpool-style brand of football, which is win the ball back up and then transition. I want to be the best transition team in the world. That was, and he made the change, that summer. But he didn't teach it well enough, and the players didn't adapt to it well enough. And with that style, if one person's off in their press, that means you're exposed significantly.
When did he say the transition part, by the way?
He's in pre-season. I want to be the best transition team.
Just the season that just happened?
No, the most recent last pre-season. The most recent.
Imagine having that. Yeah, imagine having that in mind, but keep playing Anthony. Make it make sense. Whatever, man.
So yeah, exactly. So he struggled to get the players to adapt to it, or he struggled to teach it. Whatever the reason, that's what happened. But what I don't get is if any other manager, if Ole had a season like Ten Hag, the amount of free pass United fans are giving Ten Hag, I don't know what he has over you guys. I'm not sure. This guy doesn't speak well. You can't interrupt me, bro. Let me finish. Let me finish. So when I hear Pep talk about the game, when I hear Klopp talk about a game, Zerbi even talk about the game. Zerbi's English is not perfect. Like when I hear him talk about the game, I'm like, I'm so excited because they're teaching me about the game. I'm learning about. When I hear Ten Hag talk about the game, I'm like, you're a deer in headlights. I'm telling you, bro. I reckon if you saw him at the club, you would realize this guy's got fucking no clue, man. What is he doing? I don't know what he has over you. United fans, a lot of United fans are backing him. I think the people that want Ten Hag out are in the minority. The people that want Ten Hag in are in the majority of United fans. Yep. And I don't get it. I really don't, man. Maybe they feel sorry for him. Somebody hasn't been able to articulate what he does so well. What are you excited about him? No one's been able to do it in a really constructive manner. There's a lot of feelings going around, but I haven't heard a good argument why he's a good person to be the figurehead of one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's a figurehead.
Because they don't. No, it's his feeling. They don't want to chop and change. That's the only argument they've got. I'm tired of chopping and changing. That's all they got.
It's like staying in a toxic relationship.
Not me. That's
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. You're rebuttaling to Key saying that he doesn't know why the majority of people. My thing is this. I am tired of doing the same thing. But my thing is this. I'm not saying, because I'm tired, you've got to keep him. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's had 2 years. Give him the 3rd year. And then if he's doing crap the next season, get rid of him. And then you don't know
why waste your time? Why waste your time?
Why?
Let me go back to Yaba. We haven't heard from Yaba. Yaba, go ahead. Have your say in there.
Well, they call it parliamentary proceedings, guys. All right. So there's an interesting slide you fling up there earlier, Saeed. You said something about the criteria. Can you bring that up again, please?
The criteria to why he will stay.
No, not to why he stay, about going forward with INEOS, what they want to see. I don't know if you still got that.
Yeah.
One of them was saying about the manager.
The 5 things.
The manager have some sort of decision making.
The age limit is 25. By the way, that's shocking if it's 25 and under. If that's true, that's shocking.
Project Youth.
You need a balance, don't you? Experience.
Can you see
that? Can you see that?
Yeah, that's the one. So number 5 says INEOS to spend list of 3 signings per position for a manager to choose from. So that's in line with what I didn't really know this before, that the manager has a say in the transfers. That was part of his agreement. You guys are saying that he wants to have a say who comes in. And obviously we've spent wasted time talking about, he done this wrong, he done that wrong, he shouldn't have bought this player. But clearly that's in line. 0.5 there is in line with what Ten Hag wants. So if they're having a discussion, which we are going back to again, they're going to have a discussion very soon about, they're going to bring up all these things. Can you work with us? Can you work with Jason Wilcox? You know, which he did in the last few games, I think so, to sort of shore things up. And can you, and we're going to select some players for you, and you get an opportunity to choose. You get some creative control in that. So it shows it's a team thing. So whoever's the manager, or not the manager, whoever's the head coach, will be part of this process and making the decision based on the criteria that Jim Ratcliffe wants to present for the club going forward. So I'm not, look, all I'm saying is I think Ten Hag can meet that. And I looking at number 5, I think Ten Hag will be happy with that, to say, all right, I've still got a decision here to be made with the players. And that gives you, because obviously head coach is a new kind of role. In the past, managers used to run whole clubs, but now, you know, you're getting down to sort of specific roles for different people within the club, which Alex Ferguson used to do virtually everything, you know. So I'm happy with this, to see this. I think it gives you some structure, and it gives you, the fans as well, gives you an idea about what we're looking for.
But
this
you
is what
can look
we're
at
going
that.
to see in the future. So if whoever ticks those boxes, whether it's Ten Hag or another manager come in, then I'll be happy. At least I know, okay, their managers agreed to certain things. This is the criteria, what we want to see going forward. And that's what I'm happy with.
I'm just going to say, remember, I told people, remember, look at the journalists, not the paper they work for. Newcastle is a big 2024. No one listens to this, brother, no more anyways. So that's one thing. I'm not joking, but everything I've seen there is everything I've seen these posts on Twitter put across Wilcox. I could have drawn up that list for you. You know what? That's probably the most basic common knowledge list I've ever seen. And you could debunk one by one. The age 25. You know what? Imagine we end up signing someone over the age of 25. That's him frauded already. I could have told you that. That's you know how easy that is to draw up as a journalist. That's how what I believe is just.
Oh, so you don't think it's come from the club?
Do I really believe one of these men went up to him and said, you know what? No Galacticos. Someone really said that in 2000. No Galacticos in 2024. Am I meant to believe that? No, honestly, as a fan, am I really meant to believe that? Who's using that language in 2024?
Bro, it's the Sun, bro. Why are we even trusting the Sun?
It's not even that. No, it's the journalist. Newcastle used to be a good journal for us, but not maybe 2 years ago.
No, he makes up a lot of stuff.
As a panel here, what would be your 5 criteria going forward for the club? If you're INEOS now, we're on the board. What would we say would be the?
Well, first and foremost, praying, inshallah. Number 1.
Sorry, profiles over names. Profiles over names. That'll be the key one for me. Profiles rather than kind of names. I want to see possession style football, but with intent. Progressive football. I don't want to see. I want to see a manager that's flexible with his ideas, not stubborn. You know. And I want the club to work closely with the manager as well, and develop that kind of ethos of what the club is all about. So if we could get them kind of key criteria in there, then I think I'm happy. This is why I don't want Ten Hag, because for me, yeah, football's all about winning. But I also think, you know, the style is also something that's key. You know, style is also key, man. Can't just be watching United play counter-attacking football every single time. That shouldn't happen, especially going into year 3 as well. It's crazy. It's nonsensical.
We need the right players for. If it's the Zerbi, if it's Ten Hag, whoever it is they choose to go for. Like you said, profiles over player. These managers need the right profiles. End of story. We're not going to see sustainable good football. Like, you look at our back line, maybe only one centre back can play out of the back comfortably in every situation and angle. Dalot can do it a little bit. Martinez.
Okay. Well, not Maguire.
Martinez.
No.
Not as good as
This is why I personally don't like Brentwaite. They've been talking about him linked to Manchester United a lot. When Brentwaite receives the ball, his turning ratio is like an NBA basketball player. It's not good. It's like Shaquille trying to turn. When you play in Ten Hag's or any player out of the back system, you need to be able to receive the ball at different angles. You need to be able to turn out of pressure. That's why Kobe Mainoo is so good. Like, you saw him in midfield against Rodri and all these other players. He can receive the ball in tight situations. Martinez can do the same thing. We cannot go and sign players just because this guy's a good defender. That's a limited profile. Maguire is a decent defender. But in terms of playing out at the back, he can't do it under pressure. So that's the kind of things we need to look at as a fan base and be like, okay, can this player do it in the midfield? Look at the midfield. which kind of players can receive the ball in different situations. That's why they can give Kobe Mainoo the ball. He has 3 men on him. They will still pass Kobe Mainoo the ball because they're confident he can retain it. Bruno Fernandes, probably not. But to be honest, the game against Manchester City, I think he did better retaining the ball. But he's effective when he has a free role. Bruno, and allowing him to play in that false 9 position takes away a lot of the bad things about Bruno Fernandes. He gets caught in position when he's under pressure. He plays out of position. He's not regimented in his position. You can see with Kobe Mainoo, the maturity. When he's playing in that midfield, you can see him. He's usually there. He's always there, constantly. That's the difference. And I think, as United fans, we need to be fair. If you want to play this really attractive style of football, we do not have the players right now.
Let me get these super chats in before we kind of wrap up, because it's been a long show, man. HK says all those guys approved signings, Murto and Arnold, have been sacked. So Erik ten Hag should next be played as simple. All of them are stupid. And Jamaica says we want structure, and now structure want their own manager. We're crying like a gal. It's true, man. We bought in a new structure, and we're complaining that they're making, or they're going to make a decision that they want. Like what? Like we complain we don't have more structure.
Fans are fickle.
Fans are fickle. There you go.
A few wins under.
That's why you shouldn't listen to fans.
No one cares.
You should listen to fans. I don't care.
Can I just ask you? Let's just say for argument's sake, I don't want to be a spade. I leave my argument and say, okay, cool. I'm with you lot. Get the manager out. Yeah. You're saying that fans are fickle. That there's structure in place. How long have INEOS been here for, please?
They've been here for about 6-7 months.
6-7 months. In that 6-7 months, has there been things happening within this club since they've done their strategic review?
They've appointed Barada. They've appointed Jason.
No. Not what they've appointed. Okay, cool. The same way you're saying I'm glazing this manager, that I'm choosing not to see the bad stuff.
Well, you asked me what I would do. Can I ask a question?
No, ask the question. No. That's not what I'm asking you.
What would you want to do then?
I said the bad stuff that's happened at this club, has there been bad stuff that's happened under their watch while they've been at the club? Yes or no? That's what I want to know.
Not necessarily, no.
Because it's under review. That's why everything's being reviewed. In patience, because if you make a decision, you end up looking like Chelsea. And also the stuff that we don't know, like the financial parts, is a big part of why we're in the mess in the first place. So that sort of stuff is not going to really get known. It's just going to be, I would say guesswork by a lot of journalists, unless you're someone like is his name Kieran Maguire, Swedish Ramble, etc. These people that actually know their stuff and actually keep up to date.
Yeah, bro, they were announced in February. It's May. Bro, what would you
say? I'm assuming you have a full-time job, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, cool. Let's just say you worked in the office, for example, and then somebody came to purchase your business, and you're an employee of that, or you're an employee of that business, If as me as the new like owner of your company, would you be coming into work late, messing around, not doing your job, not meeting your targets, or smoking in the staff room, making inappropriate comments, or would you go about your job correctly?
What, to impress the new?
Not to impress, just in general. Like,
how does that relate to this, though? How does that relate to this?
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I'll land my point.
Okay, land, please, man.
I'm excited for this.
Kaz, I just want to know: would you go about trying to make a good impression, or would you mess around?
Well, I'd just be professional. I'll do my job.
Be professional, yeah.
Well, most reasonable people would say that after somebody's just been taken over, you'd want to put your best foot forward, and they would implement what they have going forward as soon as they step. The first thing they said that working from home is not happening no more. Everyone comes in, their jobs will be under review. About a third of jobs are going to be cut. Their so-called what would you call it? Privileges are getting cut. Like they are trying to slash as much as they can, bit by bit. You're moving the goalpost.
You're asking me about a post office job or something.
I'm not asking. No. I'm asking because the business, and I'm telling you. Let me land the plane. When it comes to United, when you're having your top earner in Rashford, 350 bags or whatever it is.
Listen,
no.
You're going like that automatically.
What does he want?
You won't let me land. Want to cut me off here? I'm saying a valid point. You're saying that has nothing to do with it. This is my valid point. They come in. They've been here for 6 months. But yet, under that 6 months, I've still seen nonsense which I've seen in the past happen.
Like what? Like
what?
So you're telling me now in good
No,
faith.
like what? Please tell us examples. I just want to know.
I've got players still attitude stinks and people are still walking around the pitch being disrespectful.
That's not down to INEOS.
Bro,
though.
that's
That's
not
down-
down to
that's
INEOS.
down-
What are they gonna do about
Come
that?
on, man, listen.
Wait. You're saying it's not down. You're saying you're gonna say it's down to the manager. Okay, that's fine. Them players that I'm talking about, how long have they been here for?
Well, it
But
depends.
they can't
You
legally
know,
get these guys out.
Cats,
What can you
stop
do?
trying to do semantics with me.
No,
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
one sec. Don't do that because that sounds patronizing. And second of all, yeah, in my opinion, right, INEOS can't control grown men. Do you understand? The whole point of manager is called management. So that's the whole point of bringing in a manager. So the business people and so forth don't have to
they
deal
deal
with the
with that.
players. The
I
whole
don't
point
believe
is
that. I don't believe
the thing is,
that.
remember, it goes from board.
How could you not believe that? Like,
If you know, if it's on structure, I'm not trying to belittle or say that you're stupid because I believe you know what you're talking about, and I think that people have misunderstood you in a way because I'm trying to understand you. Is that remember it goes from board to director of football, and so, which we don't have right now, which is board straight to the manager as much as possible, and then the manager to the players. That's the gap. So that's the manager's on the left on the hierarchy. The thing is, the manager can only do so much, but if they don't respect the manager at the same time because of said situations or whatever their life situations are, that's down to them as players and people in general. You can't all rest on 10 at the same time. But the whole point is manage your squad. That's the reason. That's what
Our clubs they wouldn't run because there would be a structure in place. There would be a complete framework for everyone to operate on.
Can we name these players just to clarify? Like, what players are going around being disrespectful and sulking?
Bro,
And
just say Rashford. He said Rashford.
Rashford, Varane. You got Garnacho with the. You got
Varane, what's
Garnacho.
Varane done? What do you mean Varane, man? Where'd you get Varane from?
Not wanting to come onto the
He's been
pitch.
faking injuries.
Are you
Varane,
kidding
let's be
me?
honest.
Well, you're
It
not a
never
lawyer, you know.
It never happened. It never happened.
You're
So it
10
never
Hag
happened.
solicitor. That's
It
who
never
you are.
happened.
Wallahi,
It never happened.
you're not a
It never
solicitor.
happened.
You are 10
It
Hag
never
solicitor.
happened. Did it
That's
never
who you are.
happen? Did it not
What do you mean
happen?
never happened?
Did it
It
not
never
happen?
happened, bro.
Ten Hag
Wait.
disrespected him, bro.
Ten Hag benched him and he brought him on
Bench
against
him.
Copenhagen.
First of all, what are we doing here?
Hold on.
Varane
came on against Copenhagen.
You can't tell me the manager disrespected the
No,
player.
This is
Let
the
me just
whole
repeat what you
thing.
just said
The
right
whole
here.
thing with
Varane-
Varane. The whole thing with Varane is getting played
When you first-
out of
When
proportion.
you first come in, you don't start making Estella. Just for your point, when you buy something, you don't just start making decisions left, right, and center. You review the whole thing, understand what's working, what isn't working, and then you make informed decisions. Like you don't start talking about the nitty gritty of players' attitudes.
Study the
pitch or not.
business first, if anything.
That's not true. Pep came in and got rid of Joe
We've
Hart.
seen, but Estella, what
You're
we've seen,
comparing
what
Pep
they've done.
getting
What
rid
they've
of
done is-
Joe. Wait, hold on. You're comparing Pep getting rid of a goalkeeper because he wants a ball-playing goalkeeper to a structure that just bought a business.
A
And they came and they were like,
multi-billion-pound business.
and they're
No,
like, you know what?
no.
Before we take decision, by the way, because the question you asked Cass earlier, I've actually went through this. I worked for a company where it got taken over by a bigger company. You know what's the first thing they did? They came to the company and they just introduced themselves. That's it. We didn't see them again for a minute. And then eventually they start running their own decisions. Okay, this is how we're going to operate as a business. This is how we're going to separate departments. This is how we're going to advertise ourselves. This is maybe this person is going to be the new manager. These employees are good enough. We're still going to keep them. But it took them time to actually study the business because no smart businessman puts a plan before they come in and actually know that, yeah, they have an idea of what they want to do. Don't get me wrong, but you can't put a plan unless you actually come in and you know what you got to do. It's like going to the doctor and you think he's going to prescribe you a medicine before he checks on you first. He's still got to find out what sickness do you have? Oh, how about this? How about that? And then when they find out, they're like, okay,
Look at the
now I
Casemiro
think this
situation
is
now.
what you need. And this is
Well,
what they're doing right now. To expect all that from them in 3 months, by the way, is super unfair. It's so unfair.
Yeah.
What's the Casemiro situation?
There's been situations about today that reports coming out from Brazil that he had a bust up with Ten Hag, you know, due to the fact that he disrespected.
You know, he wasn't injured.
He wasn't injured as well, by the way.
Why is that?
When the thing came out, they were reporting on ESPN.
No, I'm just letting you know that there's a when you're talking about people having a problem, there's been a pattern emerging. You did a situation with Sancho, situation with Casemiro now, with Varane. There's been a pattern emerging, you know. The man manager.
I don't think there's any situation with Varane. I think that got blown.
I think there was. He openly disrespected him and said, "Yo, he's not playing because of tactical reasons."
Okay.
You know how disrespectful
He
that
said
is.
that they
Jose
fell
Mourinho
out.
said I made 11 mistakes.
It happens.
Mistakes. What are you talking about? I'm confused. He's a manager.
Forget Mourinho.
At the end of the day, Saeed, I still saw both of them at the end of that FA Cup final. Literally, Ten Hag saying to Varane, "You're a winner" or something like, you know.
Yeah,
was
he
saying
said
I
to
know,
him,
I know.
"You win."
He said
But
you
still,
win
there was a
everywhere.
problem though.
You
It
win
can't be.
everywhere.
It can't be that they
No, but
had a
Saeed,
yeah. But
Saeed,
now
you
they
need
made
to,
up.
as
Oh,
fans, yeah,
Saeed, I
a
think you're
coach.
right, because there's been too many falling outs to be just a coincidence.
The
If it was
team is
one or
in
two,
disarray, and we know this. What are we doing here?
bro, relax,
No,
man. Relax.
it's
Go on,
too,
Ange,
for
go on.
me. Maybe I would have excused the Sancho. Maybe I would have excused a Ronaldo, or maybe I would have excused the Rashford here or there. But he's fallen out with even Garnacho liking tweets after
No,
a
no,
game.
no, no, no.
For me, but wait, you got to let me land, Brian. You got to let me land.
Yeah, let him land.
Okay.
Like,
Guys,
you
we
gotta
need
let
to
me
wrap
land.
up as
So
well, man. Let's go.
the thing is, if it
Yes, Said, I'm
happens
gonna jump.
consistently,
Yeah, big up.
I think
I'll send you.
there's a genuine lack of respect for Ten Hag in the playing group. I believe that players don't respect him. I think partly because he doesn't communicate well enough, and that's why you see so many players lashing out. And that's but you can go next, Brian. Sorry.
No, I'm just gonna say with Garnacho, I think out of everybody, he's managed him well. He's 19. He did something
Yeah.
stupid. He liked the tweet. He unliked it. He apologized, and end of discussion. But with the other players, I'm not having this Ronaldo revisionism. I'm sorry, but the guy wanted to leave. He wanted to leave before Ten Hag even got through the door. He wanted to go, and he kicked up a fuss. He left. Casemiro this season, if I'm being honest, he came back to the training camp, whatever. He was super unfit. I watched this guy live in the United States. He could not, he was moving like a Mack truck. He was super unfit. If I'm a manager, of course I'd be pissed. This is supposed to be a core part of my team. And this guy's come back unfit. So they've had a falling out. It's happened, whatever it is. But he still played him. He still tried to give him a chance to get back his fitness. But it came to the key part of the season, FA Cup final. Man, I have to play the guy that's in form. I have to win this trophy. He benched Casemiro. Casemiro is upset. Casemiro doesn't even stay for the celebrations. He left. I'm sorry, but that kind of attitude, you're supposed to be a leader in the squad. Come on now. You're supposed to lead this team of young players.
Saeed, one more thing. When do we know a timescale when there's the decisions can be made about the next manager or whether 10?
It could be next week, could be 2 weeks.
Okay.
We don't know.
We'll find out very soon.
Yeah,
It's gonna have to be very soon.
Let me get this super chat in. Eric Ten Hag inners don't like when you talk about his horrible man management. Eric Ten Hag is a liar. Big reason why Sancho did what he did. I was told firsthand Eric Ten Hag is a liar. A lot of players don't like him. So HK has got his sources.
Take your word for it.
That one. Eric Ten Hag had issues with man management before United. Exactly. Do you remember the stories about Tagliafico? His story with the other guy, Neres. Yo, man, this guy's got history, man, of not being able to be a good man manager. So go and check it out, and you can find out your history.
I don't know.
But listen,
the price of bread though. I don't really get it though. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I said, I agree with all of you. If you want to get him out of it, I'm with you. I'm not a supporter for this.
Same.
I just don't like when somebody's picked on unfairly and you're choosing to only choose one side of the argument. But you're saying he doesn't get on with players. Mourinho didn't get on with people. Like there's countless of managers who did that.
Mourinho's got the aura for that though. He's got to eat. You know what I mean? He's done stuff though, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, I don't see the point
I mean-
arguing anymore. I believe that you guys or selected people have made their decision on Ten Hag, which is fine. If INEOS want to get rid of him, just do it now, please. I don't see the point of waiting. Like I think the season's been that bad. Remember when I told you one game can't justify your position to be the manager next season in the FA Cup. So if it's been that bad of the season, everyone is disagreed. Just get rid of him now. Why are you elongating this process? The summer's coming. We need to start planning for the summer. Get rid of him.
So just before I go, just want to clarify something
go
real quick. People are saying I said Ronaldo wasn't fit. Not Ronaldo. I meant Casemiro. Casemiro, not Ronaldo.
Oh.
Casemiro, but we found out from Brazilian sources that he wasn't injured. He was calm. So who's lying? Who's not
unfit? Like when he returned for preseason with the rest of the squad. This is where this stuff started from, really. You saw Casemiro when he played initially the early games of the season. The man couldn't even run. It's his own responsibility as a player to maintain your fitness levels. I don't know if you thought Manchester United was a vacation, right? So I don't know.
Listen, man, I think for me, Casemiro has been disrespected at United. So has Varane. So has a lot of players, man. And that comes down to Ten Hag man management. But listen, we can agree to disagree. That's what the show's all about. I'm going to wrap it up here. It's been an amazing show. 2 hours and 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Shouldn't have went for that long. But listen, we're here every Tuesday, man. Late vibes. It's good to see Ange back. Good to see Brian. You know what I mean? We'll see you again hopefully next week. Kaz, big up to you. Estrella, big up to you. And Yaba as well, big up to you. Make sure you follow all their channels on their chat. We'll be back tomorrow. Mandem Talk, Wednesday, 5 p.m. I'll see you there with Rance, Nuruddin, and a couple other man. You know what I'm trying to say? So we'll see you there, man. And yeah, it's been a good show, guys, man. Enjoyed it. You guys enjoyed it? Or what are you saying?
Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice and fiery.
Yeah.
Nice and fiery.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But listen, people, make sure you like the video.
Hold on. HK. That's cool. I'm 6'6", 280 pounds. I don't mind. That's fine. That's life. I love my life.
No, come on, man. He's, you know what I mean?
No, it's cool. You want to call me out? That's fine, man.
Come on, man. You Nigerian brothers, man.
Hey,
come on, man.
It's all good, man.
Come on, man. Nigerian brothers, man. Stick together, my guys. Yeah.
Wait,
Stick
this whole
together.
time you been standing up?
Yeah.
He's standing up, man. He's tall, brother. He's tall, man.
Allow
But
it.
listen, Nigerian brothers, you stick together, man. Come on, man, people. But listen, go over to Staffy TV, raid over there, and we'll see you soon, guys. Take care, bye.